up then, because there's her, this girl that looks pretty clean cut, pretty normal, listening to Rammstein tattooing, and then there's Christian tattooing. He's listening to Taylor Swift.
That is so.
You know what I mean? This. Sitting here with Maggie Hetrick, an inspiring tattoo artist, someone that had come into our shop hoping to maybe join the team and be a part of the local scene and putting some art into the zip code around here. So thank you for being here.
Hi.
We're going to just talk a little bit about kind of like how you found us, maybe what got you into tattooing or art in general. So you can kind of introduce yourself a little bit if you'd like to, and maybe give us a little bit of an idea of your background.
My name's Maggie. I'm from Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania. I guess like my story of like how I got into it's kind of funny.
We like funny.
It's kind of funny. So I like to just like I do a lot of artsy stuff, kind of like how you were talking about, like just random stuff. And my mom the one day just like got me like one of those cheap little Amazon like tattoo guns.
Okay.
And
just a rotary wireless?
Yeah. It was just like, you know, and I never touched it because I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Right.
And like a year after that, my best friend from home, not her, but she was like, don't you have like a tattoo gun? And I was like, yeah, but like I've literally never touched it. She's like, oh, who cares? Like, let's just go like do some tattoos. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. Well, then I ended up doing a cross like right under her boob, and then it turned out bad because her whole boob ended up covering the cross. So, and then I was like,
skin moves.
Yeah.
You know, it's live and learn.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Like my summer going into college, which was kind of unfortunate because I like had a like this vision of me going to college for so long, and I was going for education, and then I get there and I'm like, oh shit, like I don't want to do this, and you know what I mean?
It happens to a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the dropout rate, like especially in like the first couple weeks of college, like they tell you to look around, like most of these people aren't going to be here.
Yeah.
But it's not like that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why waste your time and energy and money on something that you don't really be passionate, you're not passionate about, you're not going to really commit to?
I agree. And like, so when I was at college, my initial plan was I was going to do this on the side. Well, then I went to a parlor in Erie, and they were going to hire me, but they wanted me to work like 9-hour days on top of being a student.
A tattoo place?
Yeah.
A parlor?
Yeah.
A tattoo parlor?
Yeah.
I never hear anybody call it a parlor. Maybe in the 50s, that's cool. So they wanted you to do what?
Like 9-hour days on top of being a student, and then I was like,
But you're an apprentice.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they do that.
Yeah, but you can't really commit to some. I mean, like you're just day one. You need to do 9-hour days.
And then they were like, well, you have to drop out of school, and I was like, what?
Nah, you gotta fucking work with people. I mean, oh my god, like I held down 2 or 3 different jobs while going to school, while learning how to tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I'm kind of grateful for that experience though, because I didn't start thinking about doing this as like my everything until that moment, and I was like, I'm not like at first I was like, I'm not dropping out. I'm not doing that. Like. But then,
you gotta have something to fall back on too.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out.
I mean. And then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, honestly, I would love to do that full time. I mean, obviously, it would be hard for me to like drop out now, get a place in Erie, work with these people in like this short span of time, because I knew they weren't gonna wait a year or so until I was done. So then I ended up deciding to finish out the year, and now I'm dropping out to do this full time.
Okay. So. And again, too, like an apprenticeship, you're not paid to do it. So, I mean, they expect you to just drop everything and commit your whole life to that, which, again, I'm somebody who has, you know, gone through the whole fucking process. And, like, you have to be able to maintain a balance. You know, now, granted, if I said, hey, just be here as much as you physically can be, and you're only here 1 day a month, then I know that you're not interested. But if you're here, you know, even for an hour, hey, listen, I'm in between classes and I'm here. Can I do anything to help?
That's kind of what I was hoping
Shows
for.
me that you actually care.
Yeah, because the main reason was, like, I wanted to learn from other people because I've been self-taught this entire way. Right. And it was like, I have so much that I want to learn. And, I mean, like I said, I'm grateful because they made me realize what I really wanted to do. But it was like, it would have been impossible for me to do like what they were asking. So it was like it was very stressful because like college itself is stressful itself.
Right.
Like I was just telling her on the way here that like I feel like high school does not prepare you for like what college actually is like. Like it is so expensive. It is crazy expensive, and it's like they kind of like push you into it and just like there you go.
Well, and they're so quick to tell you that that's the next step.
Yes,
you got to do that.
Exactly. Even
It's
with
like,
her,
well,
yeah.
how do you know? I
Uh-huh.
mean, some people just don't have to go that
Yeah.
route to be successful.
Yeah.
Many don't.
Exactly.
And especially it's like, let me just get right out into the real world. Let me start an overwhelming amount of debt, and also too, like you make those commitments, you sign a bunch of papers. Some people have to like, sign for loans and financial aid. That's a huge commitment to then the next day, like clarity have like, maybe this isn't what I want to fucking do for the rest of my life.
And I didn't, it's unfortunate, like, cause I was so sure of college until I got there, and like, I told you I was going for art ed. And like I really loved my art classes, and like I'm very grateful I took those because I took like a drawing class, which I find even helpful now doing this.
It's everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's your foundation
Yeah.
is everything. Again,
Yeah.
like I mean, not to interrupt your story, but same thing. Like I could have done just fine being an artist and doing tattoos if I would have never went to the art institute.
Yeah.
But if I look at how I would have progressed, boy, did I change the whole fucking trajectory of my learning process because I had a foundation, understood perspective and lighting and
Exactly.
shadows.
You learn so much.
It's like to be able to take essentially anything and be able to put a photorealistic sense of depth in it and a highlight. It's like, so having that foundation, it's like it taught me everything that I didn't even know that I didn't know. It's like, so then I was able to apply everything that I was already doing to that, and then the wheels are off. Yeah.
And like I realized I didn't want to do the education thing when like I was going into these education classes, and I was like, man, I was like, fuck these kids. Like I don't want to.
Well, what were you going to be, like an art teacher? Is that what
Yes.
art education?
Yeah.
So you would have been like high school art teacher or something?
Yeah, elementary. I mean, my goal was for high school, but I was like, honestly, I was like the idea was like nice. Like I like want to teach others about like the importance of art, but it was just like I was not connecting like with all these education classes I was taking, and I was like, man, I was like, I don't really want to do this, like, and then it was like a lot of pressure because telling like my family and all that, like, I just did all this to commit to school. I did all these scholarships, and now I'm like, oh, sorry, don't want to do it, like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah, but if your heart's not in it, again, like obviously at that point you realize, well, you know what, I'm passionate about the art side of it. Maybe I'm not, the one that wants to be sitting in a classroom. Because again, you could teach your art to 100 people every day. You don't have to do it in a box like that with a classroom and need a degree and everything. So like, it's just like this. I mean, like realistically, I mean, you can teach anybody every day if you want. Like I love the opportunity to like just expand somebody's horizons. To where like at least you nipped it in the bud. Some people don't make that change until 30 years later. They've been working a job that they
I'm
hate.
young, so I'm happy I figured it out now, and I guess I'm grateful because like my dad and my mom have been like very, very supportive since like day one. Like they always encourage me to like do what I love. Like it's just I was just saying how like I'm getting into making like jewelry and stuff. My dad just got me all this stuff to help me make all this jewelry stuff happen. So
That's
it's like,
awesome. That's exactly what you need.
Good having support.
Absolutely. And whether it's a family member or a friend or a spouse or what, but like someone to build you up and say, you know what, like I can see your potential, and again, like I could tell, I mean, like pretty quick when somebody walks in if they're serious or not, and that's where like realistically you have somebody that's willing to speak up, because again, if we started out with doing an apprenticeship and after the first week you're like, you know what, this isn't my thing, I can't hold that against you. I can't, you know what I mean? It's like you have to try. It's the only way you're going to know if it is your thing. And that's why, again, with these places that have like these crazy, parameters for being an apprentice. I mean, that's like
It's
entry
really
level.
hard.
It's like you don't even know if you're gonna, really gonna be, a tattoo artist or not. You kind of have to be able to get in there, and that's where like I was gonna say like, I don't make people sign a contract. I don't fucking make you pay money. If you show me that you're serious and you're gonna stick around, maybe we'll sit down and discuss, a permanent residency or something like that. But like, all I give a shit about is show me that you're serious, show me that you have some skill and some talent, and like, show up when you can. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just like Christian. You know what I mean? Like he tries all the time. Like, hey man, can I lock down to like 2-3 days off? I'm like, hey dude, just be here when you can. I mean, like, and even if you're here, you don't have to be hovering over me to watching essentially every tattoo. Come in and work on a drawing or something. Come in and, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's not one dimensional. You know what I mean? So like we all have lives to live and responsibilities and a life outside of what we want to do for our careers. I mean, like I tell people all the time, like there's plenty of days where the last thing I want to do is a fucking tattoo. You know what I mean? I would much rather be doing other stuff. So it's like, you know, you got to find somebody that understands that and is going to at least communicate clearly. Because again,
That's
like
rare to
I don't want to
find.
waste my
Yeah.
time on someone if they're afraid to tell me that they're not into it anymore. You know, and it's the same thing with college and you know wasting time at a job you don't it doesn't interest you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We
so
get it.
Yeah, that's rare to find. Like I feel like, because everywhere I looked, it's so like strict. Like, sign this, sign this. You gotta do this, and then it's like so.
and money they want you to
Yeah,
pay,
I
pay, pay.
know, I know. Like, you know, and then it's stressful because I'm getting told I have to put in, 45% of this, and I'm like,
Yeah, the thing is like you already know because you're not making any money as an apprentice. In most cases, you're not even picking up a tattoo machine in the first year. You're shop bitch. You're mopping floors. You're
Yeah.
running to get sandwiches. You're
Yep.
filling out fucking
Mhm.
paperwork. You're printing forms and stuff. So like in most cases, it's like how can I charge you to be here to do that, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
just
Be your bitch.
it's almost like I'm using you a little bit. It's like what am I you my slave? No, like I try to tell people, it's like man, just come in and like see the process from the time that the client walks in the door. They have to produce a form and an ID and
Mhm.
the even a consultation, sizing the area, and actually hearing what they want out of the tattoo and showing me that like as an artist you can produce something that's not for you, it's not on you, it's not on your homies. It's like you have to come in there and be able to produce the absolute best version of what they want for them, and you might not ever see it again. You might not even like them. They might fucking smell horribly. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of variables. It's like, but you still have to keep face and still do your absolute best and give them the best experience possible and make them feel good and look good. So it's like it's a lot of responsibility. So it's like finding the right person that can do that is very difficult, and
It
that's
really is.
why I haven't really opened my doors to the idea for a long time. But whenever the opportunity presents itself to me, I always take a look. It's always
Mhm.
worth taking a look because again, I was somebody that was walking into a tattoo shop,
Mm-hmm.
and 9 out of 10 of them told me to get the fuck out. Like serious. I had
No,
people
yeah,
throw my
exactly.
portfolio on the fucking floor and not even look at it. Like, why would I look at that? You trying to get it tattooed by me? Give
Yeah.
me money? No. I just wanted maybe some feedback from a professional artist.
No, yeah.
And like they shit on you.
I know,
Tell
and
you,
it's lucky because, like I said, like I feel like around in this area, like the shops around here are very limited. Like we don't have that many. Like, and so
it's a
whenever,
good and a bad thing.
yeah, it is a good and a bad thing for
It's a
sure.
double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever like I reached out to you, I was like, oh, this is like a long shot, and because like it's hard to find people around here and stuff like that. So it was kind of lucky, and like I messaged you back in October originally when I was first looking, and you said like you
Oh,
weren't.
yeah, we weren't.
Yeah, so it was like because my mom was the one that told me. She was like, hey, like there's a shop, like I heard they're looking, blah blah blah, and I was like, I literally messaged them like last year. I was like, I don't think they are, and then she's like, well, just message them, and I did, and you were like,
Right.
oh my gosh, this is perfect timing, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, this
Yeah.
is perfect timing for me too.
Sometimes that's all it takes is just for the pieces to fall into the right place.
Mhm.
And again, like at that point in time, we were probably just getting ready to step out to have a baby and stuff. So it's
Mhm.
like, at that point, we weren't looking to take anybody on. But because
Oh,
even
for sure.
Christian, same thing. And I mean, like he had tried it, we had tried to make it work another time. And again, whether it was him or I or both of us, just the timing wasn't quite right,
Mhm.
and now we've kind of reset and kind of came back to it and it seems to be working, and a lot of times that's what it is because again we're human beings, we're not black and white,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
there's a lot of shit going on with people, so it's like you really got to be respectful, and that's where like
Absolutely.
in some cases, like I said, if you are not pleasing the dude, today he might tell you to fuck off. It's like, well, you got to understand, like, this is I think I told you even before, I think so far long term, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Oh, I'm the
thinking,
same way.
I mean, I'm thinking of your career 5 years from
Yeah.
now. It's like,
Yep.
so like you do
You
the
have
little
to.
things now,
Yeah.
you really can set yourself up to really having an easy going time, in a couple of years.
And you have to think that way because, like, like I said, dropping out of college to do this, I really had to think. I'm like, okay, like, for the future, when I get a house, when I, get married, when all this stuff, I was like, I gotta be making money somehow, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like, is this going to provide, like, that for me? And, like, so far, I would, like, where I'm at right now, I, like, see that happening, absolutely. So, like, I hope, obviously, it stays that way, but, you know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is motivation and just being
Mhm.
like I guess inspired to do it. Because again, like if you're not walking in there every day like excited,
Mhm.
like what's the point? Because again, you have to really love what you're doing because there's a lot
Yeah,
of reasons to not
exactly.
like it today. Whether
And
it's
yeah, that's exactly why like I knew education wasn't like for me because like I literally would dread going to those classes. Now my art classes, I was so excited. They were 8 a.m. every day. Like
eh,
Teacher would be cool.
they're
yeah,
early. Yeah,
and
it would
like
be cool, but I always wondered like I was an artist and whatever my whole life.
mhm.
I was in school. I actually was denied having an art class in elementary school. That was what they punished me with.
Really?
I was a
Oh
little bit of a
yeah.
delinquent,
It is
and
a
they took it away from me because they knew.
That's your punishment.
I'm like,
No art for you.
every day is art class for me, motherfucker. You can't take that from
Literally,
me.
me and
You know, what I mean, I
Harry took
draw
an
in
art class
math, I
every
draw in
year.
history, I draw
Yep,
in English.
yep, literally doodling all over the
Yeah.
folders and notebooks.
Hurt me.
Yeah.
So like I always looked at them though, like I mean, like do they feel like was that their goal? Did you want to be a high school art teacher and teaching these fuckers how to fucking paint clouds? Probably not. You
Yeah,
probably hoped that you
yeah,
would make it as an artist and become something
yeah,
of some sort.
exactly.
Back then, it wouldn't have been a tattoo artist per se, but it's like I always looked at them like, man, that would suck to have had to settle for that.
Hmm.
Like dealing with us, like and teaching us
Yeah,
how to do this
and I
shit.
didn't realize that until college because like in high school we only had like a lot of schools offer so many art programs now it's really nice, but our school we only had what 4 art classes, and so we only could like I only could take one per year because we only had 4 different kinds of art classes. So
That is a lot.
We
I'm
only had
like
one.
blown
really,
away. But
Yes.
we're, again, a generation before you. So it's like I said, the focus on
yeah,
like, all kids need art and creativity
yeah,
and expression. That wasn't a thing. They were like, shut
they're
the
a little
fuck
bit
up and
better
sit
on that
down.
now. Yeah, like
So it's like, again, especially to be an art teacher, it's like, boy, you're looking at a populace of, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 kids in a class,
oh
something
yeah,
like that. Maybe one of those actually cares about art.
hmm
So you have to somehow remain positive and
hmm
energetic and push art on people who are just not
yeah,
interested in art, which would make you resentful. It
yeah,
would be tough. At least everybody walking into our shop, everybody there loves tattoos and loves
yeah,
art.
yeah,
You're like, come in, you
yes,
know what I mean?
like
So it's like you get this energy with people because everybody there is agreeing that like art
mhm.
is beautiful on the skin, on the wall, on the it's like
When
you
were
know,
you in
So I just finished my freshman year of college, so I just graduated last year.
from high school?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you had 4 art classes. Wow.
Yeah, out of
That's cool.
all of
what
high
were they?
school.
Like what's the different
So,
Yeah.
um, speaking of like how you were saying like your people, that's where like I found my people, including her. Like we all like there was like 7 kids only in our art classes, and we all just like
wow.
connected so well, and it was the same people each year, and like we're still best friends to this day. Like
No
that is
shit.
my group.
That's pretty rare.
That's
It's
rare.
great. Like I, even going to college, I worried about like, oh, like we're all gonna fall out. Like no, we just got together last weekend. And it's just like it's great, but
Yeah, and don't lose that
oh,
either.
I
Like,
won't.
do weekly fucking, or
Hmm.
monthly or something,
We
like
try.
stay together, keep together,
Hmm.
especially because again, like, you really kind of lose that
Yeah.
once you leave that population of
Yep.
your
When you
peers.
graduate, it's usually
When you grow up.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I didn't really experience. I mean, like I had like maybe a small niche of people, but again, where I came from, I was the only artist. I was
Hmm.
literally the only one that was sitting around drawing in my circle of
Yeah.
friends. So like I was the oddball out.
Hmm.
When I went to the art institute, I was like, holy fuck! I am surrounded by every single weird kid from every
And you
single
love
small
that.
town. And it's like, boy, like
That was nice about college. Is like all my classes take like everyone had the same interest. But speaking of so in high school, the classes we took was what it was. We had intro to art, which is kind of just an intro to everything. We had 2D, which was like painting, drawing. We had 3D, which was so fun. You didn't take 3D, did you? That's the one she did not take. It was we got to do sculptures. We did like a
3D modeling on the computer
Yeah.
in high school.
yeah, and we
No
did
shit.
latex masks, latex like Halloween masks. We did like cardboard statues. We did like
Wow.
these. Yeah,
And see, now they
my
probably
art
start
teacher
offering
was
like 3D
amazing. Like
printing and shit. You figure like just how the technology is
he was,
changing.
yeah, he was great. He like made us like get like all the experience possible for like the little art we had offered in our school, and it was like he's the one that made me want to do art like heavily, and like he always saw like what like the talent I had.
Potential.
And, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because you can see that you ignite whenever you talk about creating something.
Our last year, our senior year, we took digital. We got to do fun stuff. We made music videos. I did
Eh,
a music video to "Never Gonna Give You Up." And then
I don't know the song.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know the song.
Who sings it?
They're never gonna give you up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a fucking classic, right?
Yeah, I was like, you know that song. You know
That's
that
awesome.
song. And then we did what else? Short film. We did a short film. My grandma and was in it, and she was like evil and was like a serial
No
killer.
fucking way. See, my grandma would have been all for that. Like, let
She
me be
was.
the
She
murderer.
bought fake blood and everything.
No
She was so
shit.
excited. She was like, Maggie, I bought fake blood. I got this. Like, she was so.
Where does this film exist now?
I have it on
Do
my
you?
phone, I think.
We
Yeah.
might have to drop, like, that's cool though, because again, I would give anything, because I used to just run around and film skits, and,
Mhm.
I used to do all kinds of stupid shit, backyard wrestling and stuff, and, like, my dad, like, literally would steal my camera when I was at school, and he'd, like, cut promos, calling me out and shit,
That's
like,
funny.
I'm like, oh my god, dude, like, I'm so lucky,
No,
like,
yeah, but it's so fun to look back on
Teaching
that.
ones. Cool.
Like, I only,
It's so
yeah,
cool.
it was so cool, and like,
But you could do all this now, because,
Mhm.
again, if you just wanted to be a tattoo artist, having all that experience and the passion,
mhm.
you can go and you could shoot a promo for yourself as a tattoo artist.
Yep,
You could
'cause I
shoot a
know how
promo
to
for
do
your
it now.
shop. You could shoot, like I told Christian, I said, come up here and learn how to moderate and
Mhm.
produce this stream. Then, no matter where you're at, maybe you want to start your own podcast. Maybe you want to, you know what I mean? So it's like just the passion and the initiative to create stuff. I mean, is so cool, and now it's so accessible. Like literally,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
do it with everything. Like I talk about it, just being able to produce stuff just from my phone. Like
Yeah.
I could cut up film and all kinds of stuff on my phone now. So like that's really cool because again, I mean, I hope that you come into our shop and do great and you're a successful tattoo artist. But again, the interest in maybe, hey, you want to film a fucking commercial? We want to. I mean, I don't know.
Grace, we're running it back.
I don't know if you've ever watched any of our stuff, but like I did a promo for like
Yeah.
Christian's book, and I had
Yeah,
her
I
like
saw
fucking
that.
peg
Oh
me
my
in the
God.
forehead with the box from Amazon. Like we just like try to do as much
But,
as
like,
we
that's
can with it and
fun.
make it
That's stuff
fun.
you remember, you know what I mean? And, like,
Well, and
Hurt you.
she
if-
was my partner in digital, so it was like it was so fun. Like we always were like, okay, we're gonna get together and film this. We have like Polaroid pictures of my grandparents from us filming.
The behind the scenes
Yeah,
shit.
it was so fun.
That's
like
so cool.
yeah, and
Wow.
we got like I said, all my friends in that class, like we got them in on it, and they helped. Like it was so fun.
Yeah,
like,
you can't beat that.
No,
And again,
exactly.
you'll hopefully still have that 20,
Mhm.
30 years from now to look back on, and just you'll laugh, and
Mhm.
you'll probably
It
cry
is
at some
funny.
of it. 'Cause
Even now, like only a year ago, like, it's so funny. It's and then yeah, so that was definitely a fun class, and it was nice because I had to take a digital in college, and I already was like familiar with all the programs we used because I did it in high school,
right.
and that was nice. But
And as you grow forward, I mean, like I don't waste money on expensive programs and software anymore. It's
Yeah.
just not feasible. But like once you learn how to do one thing, everything kind of comes together.
Clicks,
and
yeah.
like it's like between like video editing, music editing, and software production stuff like that. It's all pretty much the same. Same thing with like
Yep.
doing vinyl work, doing sublimation, doing any of that stuff. Like if you, again, are an artist, you're branding yourself. You're gonna have T-shirts, business cards. I mean, like so,
yeah,
it's
I saw
graphic
that
design.
on your Facebook.
You know,
That's so cool.
so all of that stuff is stuff that you'll be
Yeah,
able to
I think
do.
I
You
saw
know,
the little baby.
Yeah,
That's so cute. Yeah. It was
yeah,
cute.
everything. Like I realized early on, like when I was starting to think about like how to legitimize what I do, if
Mhm.
I couldn't become a tattoo artist, because again, when I was starting to become a tattoo artist, it wasn't a big
Not
thing.
easy, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't there was no internet, no Google,
Yeah.
nothing. I was
Definitely a
going
lot harder.
walking into tattoo shops and again just being told to fuck off most times, because
so
again,
true.
who am I? And it's like, again, like to just get feedback because now I can post a drawing. Hey, everybody tells me it's fucking awesome. I get, a lot of feedback very easily and very quick.
And that's so nice. Like,
It is, but sometimes if it's not positive feedback, it can really fuck
see,
you up.
that's what I was just gonna say. It's like social media is so bad, but can be so good at the same time. Like, I think social media is so toxic. Not gonna lie, like I think it ruins a lot for a lot of people. But then again, without social media, like I probably wouldn't be here because that's how I started advertising
Or,
tattooing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, who knows? We could say maybe you would have found the direction of being in tattoos, but this is an interesting point to bring up because you may have still found us as long as you would have still wanted to be a tattoo artist because the way that you found us, our landlord was it your
She
mom?
told us about it.
Who
Yeah.
who made the connection between
So my mom.
Because I could tell our side of it, but I'm
Right.
interested to see how this happened from your end.
Someone told because like my mom's a waitress and my mom's close with a lot of people. Like a lot of the people she serves are like regulars, and it was someone she was serving that said something to my mom, and then my mom said something to me.
Okay, so
that
yeah.
happened on our end.
So
Our
just
landlord
was interested in
said
filling in the gaps, right? So
What's your
obviously
landlord's name?
her name's Mary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
she was out to eat. Her waitress or her server had somehow mentioned that you are interested in doing tattoos.
My mother.
And again, this is like I like to look at probabilities in the universe. This is fucking absolutely rare. That I mean, she just happened to mention tattoos because our landlord is not a tattoo person. She's not interested in tattoos. She was very hesitant to even put a tattoo shop in her building because she doesn't like the stigmatism. She's very old school.
Yeah.
So like the fact that we're in there is a miracle as well. So like your mom mentions it to her just in passing, serving her a fucking meal, that you want to be a tattoo artist, and then our landlord comes to us and says, hey, I had an interesting interaction today. And again, she reiterates that she's not a tattoo person. She's not out talking about tattoos to anybody.
Yep.
Or that she has a tattoo shop in her building. So it's like, it's just such a chance meeting. So she tells us that, this happens, and well, who knows? I mean, her daughter lives up who knows where. She's moving down here, and it's like, this is so far-fetched. Like, oh, yeah, this...
Yeah,
oh,
like
yeah,
whatever.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold,
I missed
we come in contact again, which again, I didn't even know that we had spoke a year prior about you maybe being interested in tattooing. So
we
again,
didn't put the two together.
like just the chances of this all happening is just so unbelievably rare. And then it's hilarious is I might even have to cut this out. It's a little bit embarrassing. Christian was standing outside of our shop, and Mary thought he was the girl
Oh
that
my God,
was the
yes.
daughter of the server. Oh, is that the apprentice? Because again, I'm like, oh, that's the apprentice. Oh, that's the girl. That's the... No.
I would have cried.
Like, that's Christy.
That's a
No, that's a guy. Because we call him
Yeah.
Christian, we call him Christy, we call him
call
Christian sometimes. Like, So it was just like, and he's got long black hair. And she's
That
like,
is
well, I don't
funny.
fucking know.
Well, I think she would know if she saw me because
Hilarious.
I literally look identical to my mother. Like,
Okay.
literally copy and pasted.
Well,
like-
and that's the other thing, the disclaimer too, is that she's never been in the same room with you, the person that she essentially perpetuated coming to our shop. So it's
Yeah.
like...
I am lucky. Like, she probably says something because, like, my mom is so friendly. Like, she is, like...
Just talk to anybody.
The most outgoing, friendliest person ever, which I'm grateful for because, like, she gave that to me, I think.
Right.
So it's, like, nice. But, like, I remember she called me. I was at school. I was working on something in my jewelry class. She's like, Maggie, did you text him yet? I was like, oh, no, I forgot. She's like, go text him right now. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot. And then I went and messaged
That's
you.
what you want, though. Like, really. Because, again, in situations where you might not put yourself out there, she will.
Yeah.
My mom would always be like, need a tattoo? I know somebody. It's like,
Yeah,
holy
yeah,
shit.
that's how
Like,
she is,
Mom,
too.
I have enough people. Like, leave me alone.
And, like, whenever you told me, you were like, oh, you can, like, bring someone in and you can tattoo them. My mom was like, I'll do it.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, my gosh, she loves tattoos. And, she always like, Maggie, I want a new tattoo. I'm like, okay.
Have you tattooed her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's
couple
that
times.
experience like?
Oh, my gosh, no, the first time I couldn't stand her. I don't want to tell her to shut up. She's like, this is when I, first started,
It's
right?
hilarious that we've all sitting here tattooed our own mothers.
Really?
So please
Yeah.
continue.
So, like, so I was like, okay, that's fine. Well, then it was, like, one of the first ones, and, like, I was still learning. This was, like, a year ago or whatever. And she's like, Maggie, get that line, get this. I'm like, Mom, I'm not done yet. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not done yet. And she's like, well, I'm just making sure. I'm like, let me do it. Let me finish it. And then when it's done, you can tell me what you want fixed
Yeah,
or
let me know
whatever.
if I missed anything.
Like, oh my gosh. I was like, shut up. But then we kind of like, I kind of bribe her a little bit. Like, whenever she'd be like, okay, I need a new tattoo. I'd be like, okay, well, then you can pay for my groceries. This is kind of like,
Good deal.
yeah. I'm like, I'm
My
not
mom
doing
used
it.
to order my supplies. She'd be like, hey, I ordered you 2 boxes of needles.
Yes, that's exactly what would happen. She'd be like, okay, I'll order you new gloves. I'll order you this. I'm like, yeah. So we're gonna have a deal
Man.
here. I'm not doing this for free.
We're so lucky, again, to have, parents that really want to boost the tattoo-ness
Yeah.
because
Now-
I'm telling you what, that's so cool.
My dad, on the other hand, no tattoos.
Oh, really?
Not a single
See,
one.
My dad too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He told
Blank
me though.
slate,
Yeah.
completely.
He told me though, maybe if he found something, he said the only tattoo he'd get, he'd let me do it
See?
because,
That's what he said to me.
yeah, because I'm his lovely
But-
daughter and.
He only likes it because of what he sees in him.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is it takes just one piece of art to change your perspective.
Mhm.
like my whole life wanted to be. I've known I wanted to be a tattoo artist since I was like 5 or 6, pretty young.
Yeah.
So like that's all I've talked about. That's all I've prepared for my
Mhm.
whole life. So like my grandparents were absolutely against it. Now my grandma very supportive. She's like my mom. She just loves me and wants
Yeah.
me to be happy. My grandpa was like, "You're gonna fucking mark other people with that trash, and you're gonna put that fucking garbage out there."
Yep, that sounds about
But
right.
but about 2 or 3 years into me, because I mean I went through my whole life obviously ignoring that
Mhm.
and did it, and arguably did it successfully.
Mhm.
So like I have my shop and this business and stuff, and it's like he completely changed his whole entire perspective. He's like,
Yeah.
now I can see it for what it is. Like I'm so glad you didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
It was like then he was the one that was at the fucking store grabbing people by the arm and asking them who did their work, and you should have went to my grandson.
That's kind of how my grandparents
It's like,
were
man,
too.
he just flipped.
I mean, like, it was really so. Like, I told obviously my parents right away that I was gonna like drop out and do it, and they were super supportive. Like I said, I was worried, like I said, about my grandparents because I was like, they're a little bit old school. Tattooing's not really like they don't really understand how like
Right.
popular it is now and stuff like that. So I told like my mom's parents first, and they're like, okay. But then when I told my dad, like I still think she's like in denial because she'll talk about me going back to school next year. I'm like, girl, like come on, like I know you know. It's like my dad can't keep a secret, so like I know my dad told her, and like I talk about tattooing, and she like knows that like I'm working with. They all know I'm working with you and stuff, and now they're like super supportive and like.
Awesome.
I did one on my grandma actually, and my grandpa who had no tattoos.
No shit.
Yes, I did one. It was like right here. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're so supportive, and then like I said, my grandma on my dad's side, they're super like religious, strict, stuff like that. And she actually wanted to get one for me,
Wow.
but my grandpa won't let her. He said no.
The fact that she, again, you're changing people's perspective,
Yeah.
on not just, again, we can talk about tattoos, but just art on the body, and
Mhm.
like the fact that they want to wear something that you did
I know. I
is
have
really
great
the best
family.
feeling. There's nothing like someone
Yeah.
saying like, I want to wear your artwork on me forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially if it's someone that was like openly against tattooing,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's.
makes you happy. That's how I was with my dad. I'm like, really? And
I
'cause
know,
he's,
it's
he's
so
seeing
nice.
my
It's
work
so-
now,
it's-
and
yeah.
I'm learning from
Well,
him,
And
like-
it's so
and
nice to like hear that from someone that you like care about so
I
much,
look
and
up
like
to my dad.
yeah, me too. My dad is like my everything. I
Yeah.
literally talk about him constantly. Like he's
Me
my
too.
whole entire world, and like
Yeah.
I care about his like opinions so much. And like my mom, she's always been supportive. She's like, do your thing. But like hearing it from my dad, it like means so much because like he's supported me always, like no matter what. You know what I mean?
It's
So,
a different kind of respect when you earn it from your dad, I think. And I
Exactly.
didn't ever know if
Yeah.
that's obviously probably the same thing for
Yeah.
girls growing up, but it's like I talk about it all the time too. It's like, boy, I credit him for almost,
mhm.
I hate to say everything because obviously, like, my mom was the one who really, really, I am my mom essentially. I'm like,
I was gonna say I feel like girls have a special bond with their dad, and then guys have a special bond with their mom. So it's
Yeah,
like
but-
you know what I mean?
but I always credit to him being so hard on me, I guess, and just making me aware that, like, yeah, it's all fun and like I'm over here just drawing and having a good time, but it is work, and I
Reality,
gotta make
yeah.
sure that I fucking put in the work every
Yep.
day, or else you're never gonna have all this shit,
But
'cause
it's nice if, like when they finally are like, yeah, like I support what you're doing. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
Like,
and I started tattooing my dad early on. I mean,
Mhm.
like, so even he's got full sleeves and a full
That's
chest
great.
piece and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure he's dying because, like, when I sit down to tattoo him, you might as well check off the next 6-7 hours because,
Yep.
like, and I would just do everything freehand. You
Yeah.
know, just everything's just
I
drawn on,
started
tattooed.
freehand
Like,
too. I like I
it's
did,
exciting,
I did some fuck ass butterflies on her.
Nah. Now, freehand, did you draw it on first at least, or you just freehand tattoo it?
What did I do? I drew
You
on
tried
first.
draw it.
I
Draw
tried
it.
drawing it, but it didn't work. We were camping, right? Like we were
Marker
in the middle
doesn't
of
stay
the.
too well.
We
but
were in the middle of
work
the
fast.
woods, like we were in the middle of the woods, and I tried drawing it on. Yeah, we tried using.
Oh,
No.
pen, you're
Pen.
fucked. It's too
Oh,
dark.
no.
You can't decipher
No,
between
the
your
pen
lines.
didn't even transfer. Like it
Wouldn't even show up. very
Yeah, so we
well.
just
You
went
need
right for it.
alcohol. Clean
No,
the
and she
skin with
trusted me. We went right for it.
Yeah, you just
clean the
kinda
skin with
did it.
alcohol. Too oily.
I've done
Where
every
is it?
tattoo on her except
Can I
what
see
one.
it?
It's over here.
Where is
The
it?
butterflies.
And you've sent me a handful of your work, so obviously too, I'm gonna put in some stuff that you've done because I mean I've probably said it to you already, but like really impressive for not having any actual professional guidance.
Mhm.
In most cases, in my experience, you don't start tattooing unless you have a professional at least overseeing you and making sure that you're not fucking somebody up.
Mhm.
But you've done pretty well, as much as I don't necessarily condone just out Wild West, but we're
Real.
in 2025. The equipment's so easily accessible now,
Mhm.
and I don't ever deter anybody from trying something. All I do is say, like, hey, maybe just find one or two people that trust you and know you, that aren't going to badmouth you if
That's
something
exactly
doesn't turn
like
out
a
real
lot of my
well.
people are
You know,
close
be
friends. and
smart,
stuff.
you know, about what you're doing, and understand that, like, you're permanently altering somebody's appearance forever. You might as well be doing surgery
sure,
on
like,
them.
That's another thing that makes me mad is like when sometimes like new artists will like take whatever they can, even if they don't know how to do it. Like if someone showed me something and was like, "Can you do this?" and I couldn't do it, I'd sure to be like, "I can't do that yet."
Yeah, you got to stay
Like, you
humble.
can't-
You
yeah.
can't have an ego in this game, because
You
again,
can't be like, "Yeah, I can," and then have your mind like, "Yeah, I can try." Like,
No,
no,
I have to say that
yeah,
still.
no, yeah, and yeah, I'm lucky. Like I had a lot of close friends like who trusted me. Like her, like
But-
no one can. Like all my friends are great, and like
answer me this though. Why in the fuck did you start doing such big pieces? You know, like, because listen, I mean, like, again, I credit to you, like, to being able to do some really nice work, and like we had just one meeting, and I could tell from the stuff that you showed me before we met and the stuff after, you took just that little bit of piece of advice that slow down,
Mhm.
and your lines are fucking really proper now.
Yeah,
things are coming out really good, and you're not
that was really helpful when you said that.
you're
Actually,
not tattooing particularly easy locations either. So like the stuff that I've seen you tattoo, you're tattooing on some pretty difficult areas to tattoo, just no matter what the design is. You know, if you're crossing the waistband, you're talking about very elastic skin that moves a lot and it's hard to stretch. Stomachs, sternums.
Yeah.
You know, like you've done a lot of like difficult tattoos and they've come out really well.
So I do my research obviously before whenever I do a placement that I'm like unsure about, because I want to be sure before I take something, but then I try to keep in the mindset. Obviously, I wouldn't take anything I don't think I'm capable of doing. Second, it's like the only way to get better is to do things like that. You know what I mean? Like in my mind is like that's the only way you get better.
And that's
I mean,
across the
Exactly.
board. You have to, I mean,
Yeah.
again, experience. And that's why you almost have to be able to be free to make the mistakes
Mhm.
on some people, because again they have to understand, well, listen, like, okay, like I need to understand why that happened, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it better.
Yep.
So again, like, who you're working on is almost everything,
Yep.
because
Exactly.
like I tell anybody, it's like you almost need to be able to take the time, the money out of
Mhm.
it, because you really just need to learn how to use the tool and be able to
Exactly.
work on this canvas, because it's so different from a flat piece of paper or a
Oh,
flat
it's
canvas.
so different.
You know, like when we're talking about having to, you know, maintain a vertical depth while also maintaining tightness of the skin and being able to just keep a smooth, consistent line. You
Mhm.
know, it's like there's a lot of variables. There's a ton of variables, and you've been able to do it without, again, like needing really any guidance. And that's where, like, some people pick up a guitar and learn how to play guitar without needing
That makes me
sheet
feel
music
good,
and
though.
things like that.
Well, there's like 90% of self-taught anymore, and that's why artists are getting so
And a
upset with self-taught.
Good thing and bad thing. The market is flooded with very, very bad tattoos.
Yeah.
But it makes the
Exactly.
people that are actually skilled look better.
Look better.
It makes us look a little bit more trustworthy, because again, I can show you a stark contrast between somebody who's just out there just
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
tattooing in the dark with no guidance. You
Oh,
know,
I follow these groups for days. I share
Oh
them
my
all the
gosh.
time.
There's
I
this
watch them
guy on Facebook, the one that has my initials.
Yeah.
So there's this person on Facebook, and they have like the same initials, like, and my same last name. So everyone thought this person was me.
oh my
And like
god,
these are like I hope
the worst
this person
tattoos
doesn't
ever.
listen. like really bad tattoos, and like my dad sent me this. He was like, "Who is this?" I'm like, "I don't know, but that's not me." Like janky ass
It's
tattoos,
not
like
me.
What's
really
the initial?
MH, really bad. I wonder if I could find them.
Well, and it's a shame that
Try to look them up on Facebook.
your name's kind of I don't want to say like, you know,
Hetrick is very common in this area.
it's a very common name, so it's like, man.
Oh, I know a lot of hacks.
Very common in this area. And I'm from Berg, but I know one's in St. Mary, I know one's in Ridgeway, and it's like
You need like a stage name for like your artistry, because I
but
follow
everyone
this
calls
girl.
me Mad Cat, so that's like my little
That's
nickname.
funny, because I actually follow this girl, and her name is Maggie Hellcat. You know, because I'd imagine she probably did the same thing. Like, my name's too common. It's too easy to like get mixed up in other people.
My name's not Margaret, by the way. Like that's not my real name.
grandma's name, though, Maggie.
Yep, and
Margaret.
everyone thinks my name's Margaret, but it's
So
not.
your name's actually Maggie?
Yep.
That's, okay.
Yep. It's so awkward though, because
But-
like the other day I was just yelling at my mom. I was like, "Why did you name me this?" Because I literally have a dog name. The other day we were getting in the car.
Dog
after,
name.
No, we were getting in the car after walking my dog, and this girl's walking around. She goes, "Maggie, get over here." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No!"
There's a lot of dogs
That's the
named
second. I was actually out on a date with a guy. The first one of these, like this date with this guy, and we were walking my dog, and this other girl. This was like a year prior, and a girl was walking her dog, and she said the same thing, like, Maggie, get over here, because I was like, oh my god, this is embarrassing.
It's a common name.
I
So
know, it's
funny.
unfortunate.
I mean,
Yeah,
there was
my-
only so many to choose from 20 years
I
ago.
know.
That's my favorite.
Well, my middle name's Kathleen. That was supposed to be like my first name, I think, or something.
Okay, now I see where you get the cat. Then that
Mhm.
works.
And it's Maggkatt.
But I immediately think Maggie, Magnum,
That's what a lot of people tell
tattoo
me.
industry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like you might be able to,
My mom was supposed
but you don't want to be
name me
flat
that.
Maggie.
No,
You don't.
No.
you don't.
That's it's either grandma or dog name. That's what it sounds like. And not to mention, my aunt's dog's name is Maggie. And
Oh,
my
no.
mom named me after that dog was alive. I'm like, are we serious? Like, is this a joke? Yeah. Did you find him?
We loved that dog.
Maybe he deleted his page.
Probably.
It's a
Was he local?
yes. That's what made
Really?
it worse.
I'm looking on the Let's Talk Johnsburg because it was on there a while ago. They were like bashing him on
and we
Oh
don't
my
have
god,
to put his
everyone in
name
the
out there,
comments
but
was like,
Obviously.
these are horrible, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, guys, this is not me, please. Like, no, get away. I know, and it was because I don't.
we had somebody impersonating like that they worked for us.
Oh,
We had
us.
somebody that
Yeah.
literally was out there like taking people's deposits, saying that they worked at Black City Tattoo. And
That's
people were like messaging us like, "Hey, when's my tattoo?" And I'm like, "Well, we don't have you wrote down. I don't have anything from you." And when they showed us receipts that they had sent somebody money and messages someone to say that they were an artist at our shop, and it's like,
That's
man,
crazy.
we're in the age of the scammers because it's so easy to be faceless on social media. You don't even have to use your real name because now you can like make a jump profile from your real profile and use it's like
I
it's
know.
really a fucking strange landscape.
That's something happened with me, and I can't even access my profile now. Like, I don't really. Did you find it? It's like MH tattoos or something.
We made this huge post about it.
That like it wasn't.
It's
I,
shit
like,
that like I didn't
freaked
even
out
expect to
online.
happen. Like,
Oh,
who
I
would-
would be
How
too.
dare you, like,
Because that's disgusting.
people
Get a life.
walk out- Yeah, well, we had clients reach out to us about it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
like,
that's
not
that's
our
where it
clients,
makes.
But, like,
Yeah, right. People that thought
other
they were our
clients.
clients
And then
thought that
that
they had
makes
money
like.
down.
I'm not
Right.
saying it makes you guys look bad, but it makes people question like.
Yeah.
Well, again,
Why-
no, Black
great.
City Tattoo, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Makes you look
thank God we
bad.
have
And
a
I'm
physical
professional,
location and that we're very out there,
Yeah.
but,
And like you guys are what kind of newer, so it's like.
I mean, we've only been here 2 years,
Yeah.
but, again, we go back to the fact that the landscape around here, there's not a whole lot of tattoo shops, and the
Mhm.
ones that are here, for lack of a better phrase, are just not real motivated, like, aren't really open doors.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Blame it on the pandemic, but that was like fucking how many years ago?
Literally forever ago.
So like
I forget that was even a
if
thing.
you're that booked up, I don't know what to tell you. Like I've been tattooing for 18, 19 years, and I've never ever been so booked up that I like either had to close my books or I had people waiting a year. Like, because I have no problem tattooing 7 days a fucking week,
Mhm.
and it's just like I enjoy what I do, and it's like I guess like again I don't know the age of most of these people around here, but I would imagine young,
A lot of young,
motivated,
yeah.
a lot of initiative, so
You know,
it's like
that's like-
we're eager, and
That's
like
the
we
best
wanna
thing
work.
about tattooing. It's like you get to decide like what you like for yourself. Like you can decide who you want to tattoo or when you want to tattoo. Like it's
Mhm.
you know what I mean. It's nice.
Makes it easier.
It does.
Double-edged
does.
sword again, because again, like I said, like there are days, and I even said that it's probably the most respectful thing that I can do for my client. That if I'm just not feeling it today, I'm gonna tell you like, hey, maybe today ain't good, because like I'm gonna have to walk in there and mark you permanently. You want me at my best,
Yeah.
and like every excuse out the window. If I just flat out tell you like, hey, today I'm just not in the right mental state to fucking do your tattoo, I would hope that you would say, hey, you know what? Thank you for not just coming in there and trying
Doing
to just
it.
make the
Being
money.
honest.
Because trust me, I always need the money. We always need the money. So
That's
it's like,
yeah, that's where I got
know-
back about like taking tattoos. Like I couldn't do like I get a lot of like respect when someone asks me to do like I like just recently had someone want me to do like this big huge tree on their arm, and I was like with a lot of like the shading, and I was like I can't do that yet, and they were like thank you like for being honest and not just being like
you'll go so much farther being honest like
for
that.
sure.
Like again, because maybe in a year or 2 years you'll be ready to do that piece.
Mhm.
And maybe he had somebody else do it, but he's gonna know like, hey, that girl actually cares more about the quality of the work than she
Oh, for
does. She
sure.
could have taken my money and fucked it up
Yeah.
and blocked me, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of people out there that just will block somebody that doesn't absolutely boast about their work.
And that's like when people don't like you and like you get bad name on your name, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the people I tattoo, like I said, are like people I know, and like they'll come back to me because I always make sure like they're happy, like you know what I
Right.
mean? And I wouldn't, and that's like another thing about, like, I love making art for other people, and that's, like, what I feel like me and you had in common. You're like, I love doing this and making other people happy, and, like, that's my thing. So, like, for example, in my jewelry class I just took, we had 4 projects, and each project I made something for not even myself, but for somebody else.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like, I love creating art for other people, so it's, yeah.
And I think that, like, that's what makes you a real artist, because, like I said, anybody sitting here, like, would probably say the same thing, that you get just as much enjoyment doing it for somebody else, because, again, that fucking thing could walk out of your shop and you never see it again.
Mhm.
You know, like, so you really want to, one, give them the best experience possible from the time they walk in to the time they leave.
Mhm.
You know, but then again, like, we had somebody come in, they were just traveling, passing through, he was just there, and I could have easily been like, I mean, actually, it was so funny, because it was a Friday.
We were busy that.
Fucking swamped. We were
for
fucking
some
swamped.
reason.
I had friends in the shop. We had all kinds of shit going on. I pretty sure that I had my day set up that I was trying to just come back here. Which, again, I mean, who isn't just ready to get out of work sometimes? You know, so, like, this guy and his wife had showed up. They were at first just coming in to ask if they had an ATM, or if we had an ATM to pay for the massage they got roped into.
That's so funny.
Oh my god, that's a good one. They pulled them out of the parking lot. Massage? You want massage? You need massage. Come get
What
massage.
the
That to be
hell?
$100.
No!
He's like, well, I don't have any fucking money on
This
me.
is here in St. Mary's?
Right next to us.
Right
What the
next to us.
fuck?
So they opened
That
Oh.
spa place?
Yeah.
They just opened. Like, they're like 2 days in now. They just opened. So, like, connected to our shop. You'll hear it here first. Hot Asian massage. They do couples massages. Like, oh, I can't wait. It's a beautiful place, and they're actually, like, authentic Asian. I don't know, they're Filipino. I don't know their origins.
Me and Nick are gonna pull up there.
But seriously, like, I mean, talk about, like, you've been over all day tattooing, go over and get a fucking massage and go home.
I did start getting massages from
It's
tattooing
like
because my back.
Your
oh
lower
my
back,
gosh, I'm
man.
like,
I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I've got a hinge on my spine
You're
to where,
probably
like,
used to it
I'm
after
just
you figure it
broken,
out.
you know. So it's like, but save your back while you have it.
Yeah.
So, like,
I just got cupping
and
done for the first time a couple weeks ago.
I'm gonna
Oh my
have you
gosh.
try out my chair, which it feels like fucking half a gynecologist, but, like, this chair that my mom got me is, like, ergonomically shaped, and it's actually made to take all of the pressure and strain off of your back.
Oh,
So
that's
it's like
so
a dentist chair for the or a tattoo
Like a
chair
saddle.
for me.
That's so
Yeah,
nice.
saddle, right. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a
ergonomically shaped on the seat, but then you almost sit on it backwards to where the thing is on your chest, and so I can actually freely lean forward into my tattoo, and I'm not holding my
Like,
weight.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it took me like a couple weeks to, like, get used to sitting in it, because, like I said, it kind of puts a weird pressure on you. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, like, if I have to really be low down on a tattoo for a couple hours, like, boy, that's just really saved me. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
They're
got
expensive
fucking, like,
chairs.
gel
Really?
fucking roller skate wheels. It doesn't have the plastic shitty wheels. I'm fucking rolling all over the place. Thanks, Mom. She's always
Oh, I
thinking of me.
know.
She's always thinking of me. That's the thing. She's like, oh my god, look at, you know, I mean, he bends over and fucking breaks his back. She's,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, she's just always thinking of me. You know,
That
so
is,
it's
like, the one downfall I feel like of tattooing is, like, it puts a strain on your body and people don't realize it.
longevity
back's
is where
already
it gets
bad.
tough.
Yeah.
You're like, but I've even dabbled in raising the table way up. I've stood to do some tattoos. You know,
Mhm.
like,
I've had to do that too.
Me
just
too.
like how they've made now all these rising and standing desks. We need, essentially, I guess they have them the dentist chairs, but they're fucking uber expensive because
That's
you
what I
gotta
bought.
have
And
the,
you
the
know what? I'm
lifting,
pissed.
rising thing.
I just bought one of those chairs and it was like, it wasn't that bad. It was like $300. And then this girl, the piercing lady, was selling one for $50.
Nah.
Yeah, I showed him.
Right after I just bought one for, I was pissed.
And we try to buy up every kind of massage table, massage chair,
Mhm.
you know, any kind of salon tables, chairs, anything like that. It
Yeah.
all coexists with the tattoo industry quite
Uh-huh.
well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. We'll have to discuss at some point at the shop is just where you're right-handed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm left-handed. I'm the only left-handed
Right-handed?
artist that we
Yeah.
have. So I'm the only one that gets a special space. I'm oriented the other way.
Oh,
Everybody else, no, it's,
Fuck us.
you guys are fucking backwards.
He's backwards.
I don't want to hear it.
It's
Left-handed
hard.
people were just better. But
Oh.
I mean, not for any real reason, but they just are. You know, that's what my grandpa always told me. He was left-handed, of course.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I'm not
Left-handed people
putting
get the
on
bad
here
end of the
for
stick, and that's why they tried to, you
sure.
know, they tried to kill it off.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to
You
be
know.
both. I broke my right arm, so I had to write with my
Free
left for a
thinkers.
little bit.
Try to tattoo with your left hand tomorrow.
You know what's funny
Yeah.
about that is, like, so I go, like, for my tattoos, I would go, like, 2 hours away because my mom, like, was so weird about, like, tattoo artist and like trusting people, so she made me go to this guy she goes to like 2 hours away.
To get tattooed.
Yeah, so, and
That's smart, though.
yeah, I do really like them. I've gotten all my tattoos by them, other than the ones I've done on myself. And I have one up here, and there's like just these 2 little letters I need to get touched up. I'm like, I'm not driving 2 hours away just to get those touched up, and like, but it's on my right, so I can't like do it myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then my friend the other day was like, well, I can do it. I was like, no, no.
Not just anybody can do this.
Yeah.
I know that now. Like,
I know, and she was like, well, do you trust me? I was like, no.
No.
it's so funny because
No.
you had said about like, oh, don't you have a tattoo machine? Like,
I
who
know.
cares?
No, I don't trust
It's like,
her.
listen, it does take some skill.
No, really, I know. Like, even, yeah.
So you're working predominantly on a rotary machine. You haven't used coils.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Again, I don't really deter anybody. It's really whatever you're comfortable with is what
I mean,
it
I'm
comes
open to
down
learning
to.
anything.
Especially because right now, I mean, like the biggest thing that we're gonna work on with you is shading, because I think that at the end of the day, that's probably the most difficult hurdle to get
Yep.
over is learning how to work with gray wash and how to
There's
worry
different
about.
shading, like, types, and I just
It
don't
just
fucking
comes down to
know.
dilution, and then I showed you that thing just again, I was like, when I seen this, I was like, holy fuck.
That was
this
so
is
perfect
I was like, this
because
is everything I've been trying to explain to somebody for 20 years.
It's perfect, though, because, like I said, like, I work with welding and soldering, so, like, I understand it, like, which
Yeah.
was so perfect that you sent that to me.
And like you can see that, oh, okay, well sometimes I shade in a back and forth motion where I'm not picking up at all. I'm on the top of the skin, I'm going like this. Sometimes I'm working in an overlapping circle motion.
Yeah, which I've watched
If-
some videos on.
If you see
all that.
tattooing, you can notice that, hey, why is that hand motion different? At least if
yeah.
you're thinking critically. So again, if you're thinking about a bead or, something on a weld, I am not a welder, never have been. But when I seen that, I'm like, holy fuck, is that so similar to where, like, if I'm trying to color pack or even if I'm trying to build up a line, from the bottom of that to where it gets thick, those are the exact same hand motions that I would use anywhere from a small round to a wide magnum. So again, you see, like, whenever I'm building up a line and trying to make a thicker line out of what, because again, this is something I try to talk about a lot too, is needle versatility. Is like, so if I'm using a 5, I can make that thing as thin as a 3, I can make it as thick as a 9 by knowing how to use my
Work
needle.
it, yeah.
And it's the same thing, like if I was using a pencil, well, I don't get my thick pencil and then my thin pencil and my you learn how to make that thicker. So
Thicker
the only
and thinner,
difference is that we're working on skin and it's fragile and you can tear it. So it's like
Yeah,
with
I
these
guess I've
motions,
learned all of that.
that's what I'm saying. So like this just put it to what I would consider to be like layman's. I don't even know if
That's
that'll
cool. Oh.
Yeah, you literally focus. Okay, so like I'll put this into the thing.
Yeah.
But regardless, like to put it into layman's terms like that was very fucking helpful because like trying to explain this on a body while I'm shading somebody, it doesn't always translate the same way. So like looking at that again, if I have I use pretty much 5s and 7s to do everything.
Yeah.
Very rarely
Shader and lining? Or?
No, we're just talking about lines for the moment. So like 5s and 7s for lines. Very rarely I'll use a 3. Don't have any reason to use a 1 for anything at this point.
I use a 3 and a 5.
Okay, so again, I'm sure you've had to build up lines with your 5. That would be like with this motion, and again, just like if I was working a welder, if I've got a line here and I'm building this up, I mean, it's just a small overlapping circle and I'm just not leaving the thickness of that space, and I can build that up. And it's almost the same exact hand motions when you're working with a shader. Now, now everything's curved magnum.
Oh, I know.
Before, you used to have what they would call a flat magnum, which my first tattoo shop was called Flat Mag Studios because that's all I used was fucking magnums. So, like, they used to just be square, and you couldn't use them on the corner, and you couldn't really use them in, like, a circular motion because they'd tear the skin. But now they make curved magnums, so you can use those magnums almost the exact same way as you do a round shader or a liner when you're building up lines like that. So, like, you can literally, you could shovel only forward, only passing the skin forward this way towards you, which would be considered like a whip shading. That's more traditional, where you're going to see like stippling marks or needle marks in your shading. For smooth gradations, you want consistent motions, and then again, must be similar to pooling weld,
Yeah, it is. It really
or
is.
whatever,
Yeah.
or solder, to where like you have to maintain that, and keep that within that boundary.
Sense.
And get a consistent, even flow.
Yeah.
So like that will, I think, play a big part into you being able to transition into working with gray wash, because the hand motion's the most important part. fucking learning the ratios is a day-long thing. Like,
Mhm.
you'll figure that it's
Yeah.
1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. You'll figure out your system for gray wash, and then you just got to remember that I'm looking at 4 or 5 caps, and
Yeah.
from right here, they all look black. Black is black is black. I got to remember which one's my 10%,
Yeah.
which one's my 15, my 50, because I love looking at the bewildering look on someone's face when I've just filled up 6 caps, all
That all look
black.
the same.
They're
So
like,
funny.
What the hell are you doing?
like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? What do you need?
Trust the process.
Why do you need so many black caps?
It's so funny because it's like, well, even with a black and gray tattoo, sometimes if you're not really aware of it, or like, well, why do you even need more than one? I just
Mhm.
want black. Well, I need 4 shades of black,
Mhm.
and then I'll also usually habitually through the middle of the tattoo, I'll still throw out 2 more caps because I'm panicking that I don't have a light enough one. So I'll make 2 more that are like a 0 and a 5% just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Just yeah.
Because every single time that I dip into any of those percentages of blacks, I'm altering that percentage.
Mhm.
So you also have to be aware of what cap you were in last and where you're going. So like
Yeah.
if I was just in the 100% black and I'm going to dilute it now, I have to be aware that every time I dip into a cap, I've now made that cap a little bit darker, a little bit darker. So eventually as you're working through a tattoo, your shades have changed. Your tones have changed. So again, I usually I'll throw out 2 more and reset. Go back to a 0%, make that one my 5%.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and usually my first pass on a shade is I'll get to my lightest tone. Obviously, I'm not dipping my clear, my 0, but my lightest shade. What I've determined was going to be my 10 or my 20%, whatever my lightest wash is, and I'll put that on the skin. And my goal is to hit the skin and it not show up at all, because essentially that shows me, okay, well now I build that up a little bit more. Where can I get it to where it's the most faint, soft,
This is
smooth
where,
gray
like,
wash?
Drawing like classes like have like,
Building it up from
Hey.
light to dark.
yeah, like drawing classes like play a good role in this because like we used to make those the little scales.
A gradation scale.
Yeah. So it's like nice because
Tints
like,
and shades.
yeah, we played around a lot with that, and especially like going into college, like shading was like the main thing, like learning how to do, and like it was weird because like I was used to working so small in like drawing classes. We were working on like paper like that size of that flag almost, like huge.
That's
ass
where
paper.
I want to be. I want to wall canvas.
Huge ass paper. No, I hated it. We'd have to set up all these objects on the table and just all sit there. We'd have to sometimes draw like we'd have to draw people naked and like
life drawing. I did
Yeah.
that for probably 6, 7 semesters.
Yeah.
Like, and I loved Ron. Oh my God, Ron always had a theme. He'd come in. He had a banana hammock. We weren't fucking drawing his wiener. But like he would come in like this week it was 007 and he'd have a fucking boom box and he'd have a fucking
That is funny.
he'd have a particular pose and he would and we would
See,
do anywhere from 15-minute to 30-minute drawings.
We always had girls and ours was 2 hours, 2-hour class periods, 2.5 actually, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
But change pose every 15-30 minutes or so.
Certain times we would do like fast drawings for that, but like times we were
Gestures.
gesture drawings exactly. And then but whenever we were doing like a drawing of this girl, like she would have to I kind of felt bad. She like would sit or stand on the circle thing. She'd always hold a staff and we had to surround her the whole way around.
You almost have to have that.
Yeah, we had to surround her the whole way around, and like I felt back. She just had to stay in this position the whole time. Like everything's out. Like
trust me,
nothing's covered.
They
like,
make buku money.
Well, actually, only it was only $20 an hour, and our class was 2 hours.
Well,
so
I
she
guess
only
I
would
was
make,
at yours too. Maybe they had a bigger budget for fucking
oh
models.
Oh my gosh, it's not to trash on Edinburgh, but like, so it was like $40 for this poor girl standing there for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and the girls are fully nude, so like same thing. That's pretty traditional in a life drawing class, and that's where like
oh my gosh,
everybody.
I learned so much. I never drew people before that.
Everybody's drawing from a different perspective. Everybody's got different lighting and different shadow.
Yes,
and
exactly.
your instructor's just walking around.
Well,
in that way, nobody like you can't look at what are you looking at because when you're here to here, everybody's position's different. Every single thing is different.
My best friend was in that class, and I was like,
what I hate is I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be done in 2 minutes. I gotta fucking get all this fucking detail in. I've got all the form and figure proportions done, but now I gotta do details and
shading. When I draw and paint, I'm a very slow worker because I pay real close attention to detail. So like I have my friend over here. She's like whipping all her pine
That's
floor
why
around.
you do
like,
gestures. You gotta get the fucking rust off.
Yeah,
and get that
I like
fucking shit
that's
going.
our first class period.
Newsprint.
My first, yes, we had newsprint.
I love
my
that
first,
shit so much.
My first ever class, this girl comes in naked. I'm like, oh, we're just going right into it.
She just derobes. I
And-
mean, like.
No,
it is-
literally, and it was kind of weird because like there was people that left because they were so uncomfortable. I was like,
Oh, I bet.
That's normal.
I was like,
Yeah.
but I was like really just like, and there were girls. I was like, it's a girl, like come on, but whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, and you'd think all the guys would be gawking, but actually, it's
yeah, and
actually
there was
the
like
girls
these,
are like.
there was like these two guys in there who were both like football player dudes, and I was like, ooh, this is not gonna go. But they were, yeah, no, they did pretty good. They locked in, and they were like, no, and
That's hilarious.
yeah,
Because
but like whenever we would do these drawings, we had to like get her whole body in like 15 seconds. And I was like, and then it looked so bad, and then she made us hang them up on the wall. I was like, no, this is bad.
Yep. But I'm telling you what, though, I'm sure that your instructor probably had all his on the wall, and we're talking about drawing with like, is it charcoal? I mean, like I would have
Charcoal.
like art
Charcoal,
sticks. You know, it's almost like an adult crayon.
Yeah,
You know, which
charcoal.
I love that shit, especially on newsprint.
And I
Boy,
never
it looks
worked with
so
charcoal
good.
before this, so it was.
That was amazing.
Oh,
It
when you
really
get to
is.
shade with it, and you can
It's
use the
great.
whole length of that fucking thing to block out an
Yeah.
area, like it's really cool. And
Yeah.
like my instructor would always come back and like, stop drawing her tattoos. Stop drawing her.
And I
'cause the
never
girl-
realized how important lighting was until this either. Like it was so
It's
weird.
everything.
Yeah, and the charcoal was super fun, and my instructor, she always was like, draw faster, draw faster, draw faster. Like, I was like, I'm trying. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, and again, like I think our classes were 4 hours. You know, and we would
Holy
have
shit.
we'd have a break
I
in
thought
between.
two
But
and
we
a
would
half was
but
bad.
we would do two models. Like I said, we would do a male and a female, and
Mhm.
obviously the first 5 minutes of both of those were warm ups,
I never got
gestures,
to do a male model.
figure drawings and stuff. Like it was
Really?
a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And like Ron was like 65, 70. So like you got to draw his wrinkles, you got to draw his fucking cellulite, you got to draw. You know,
I
like I
love
mean, like
that.
it's so cool. And then he would also come in and he would say, "This week, you know, like we're gonna be focused on fabric and fold."
Mhm.
He'd wear a big
Oh, I
robe.
hated that.
Fabric
I
and
hated
fold is
fabric.
difficult.
It
you
is,
know?
but
And
you know,
he'd wear like this big fucking veil
I
and a
hated
robe, and
fabric.
you know, it's like, wow, man, like thank you for actually, because again, he could come in here and just stand.
Yeah.
You know, and we actually had a couple of models collapse. You know, because they
we had
around
one
the
girl
city.
fall asleep. She fell asleep.
Well, if you lock your leg or whatever at a position for too long, you'll just drop. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
she,
Like, so
like-
you actually have to be relaxed and standing, and that's where most times they have something to hold on to.
Yeah, like a stat. We drew for like 30 minutes at a time, and she'd like have a little bit of a break, and
Yeah,
then she'd come back up.
Usually it's 30 minutes as a
Yeah.
figure drawing, and then you change poses.
Yeah, it would depend like if we were doing like just like quick drawings or like the whole 2.5 hour her in the same pose. That's when we would do like all the details and stuff.
And she
like
might be
that.
sitting down or laying
she
down
was
or something like
sitting,
that for
yeah.
that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was funny because back in my day, I grew up in like the metal militia days and riding freestyle motocross and shit. And like a poser to me was someone that was like pretending to be cool or something like that.
Yeah.
So like I was real grunge and punk when I was in
Yeah.
college. So I had like spray painted jackets and shit with,
Oh,
you know,
that's so
studs
cool,
and shit
though.
all over it and all that shit. On the back of the one that I was wearing said "Kill all posers." And my instructor comes over. He's like, "How do you think Ron's gonna feel about your shirt?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, Ron's a poser." I'm like, "You fucking asshole!"
No, it's funny.
That's amazing.
That speaking of that funny being like, I remember like, oh my gosh, that drawing class kicked my ass. Like I said, drawing big was such a new thing for me. So I was like, oh my gosh, all my drawings look like shit. I hate it.
Well, and
here.
a newsprint is like it's
Yeah,
a big
it's
thing.
big,
So
and
like
I-
you have to fill the full
Yeah.
picture plane,
I hated it
and that's
all.
what I was doing head heights.
Yeah,
Did
so when my semester was over, I didn't even keep my drawings. I was like, fuck
Mm.
it. But no, here, it gets good. Ready? So I had a Christmas party with all my friends, and my best friend from college was like, I got you a really good gift. She gives me like this tube with, like, it's like a poster tube. And I was like, oh, what'd you get me? Like, and I open it. It's all my drawings from that
no
class.
shit.
And so I was like,
That's cool.
I was like, get this out of here. Like,
But you gotta be so happy to have that now,
now
right?
I am,
I
but
mean,
I
'cause
kept them.
laugh about it all you want, but like my grandma's house burned down, and like I think about it, like she kept like a binder of like I used to draw like Dragon Ball Z characters.
I know
when I
my
was a
dad
little
has
kid.
like a little box of all
And I'm
my
like,
elementary.
ah,
and high
I
school
laughed
art.
and like
Yeah,
told her
me
to
too.
throw it away for years and
I
years
know, I
and
am
years, and it's
grateful
like, man,
now.
I wish I'd have just taken that, because boy, that's where I really started to kind of
Especially
figure out
seeing like your
proportions and
progress.
figures.
Yeah, you're seeing your
Yeah,
progress.
it's like, holy shit, look how
Mhm.
terrible I was. You know, like,
yeah.
I was better at drawing anime.
you know, and that's why, like,
Really?
nowadays, that's
Yeah.
why, like, I tell Christian, I'm like, dude, just post your drawings every day,
Yeah.
every day, because you'll love that in a year when you get that stupid little Facebook memory or something. Like, now with digital output, you can save so much more, even if you don't have the
Yeah.
originals. Like, I actually went back years ago and pulled a bunch of my artwork off of MySpace. And, like, I seen some of the first tattoos that I had ever done, and, like, I wanted to vomit at
the
them. And, like,
2000 tattoos.
you feel bad for the people that are, God forbid, still walking around with those. But it's like,
Yeah.
boy, like, look at where I'm at now.
Now,
And,
yeah.
you know, so many people when I was tattooing then, like, you'll never be any good. You're terrible. Like, you know what?
Mhm.
Fuck you, dude.
Fuck you.
You know, like, I don't give a fuck what you think. You know, like, half my legs outlined in blue ink because I ran out of black while I was practicing. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, but I was determined to do it. It was the only way you're going to learn is to do it. And it's like, well, you know.
I'm pretty good with that. Like, with like, I don't have many tattoos on myself.
Well,
but-
and
Yeah.
don't. I
Don't,
tell her the same
I
thing. I
don't
tell
plan
Christian the
to.
same thing.
I
He's
put
done it.
one on me, it was
I'm like,
tiny.
don't tattoo yourself.
yeah,
You're not.
I have one on
you're
my
not
wrist.
learning
I just
anything.
Did his
I
feeling.
know better.
You're not learning anything tattooing yourself.
Yeah.
I can make a really crude.
I don't want to be covered in tattoos either, which is kind of funny wanting to be a tattoo artist. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's funny because like I look so girly, and then it's just like,
Normal.
what's your job? Oh, I tattoo, and it's like
But-
That's how I
yeah, and like the image of tattoo artists. I'm like, when you picture one, you think of like you like covered in tattoos. Or Christian, like all these piercings.
Yeah, right, you think, like, you gotta have
like
this
you think
style.
of him, and you're like, yeah, that guy like he's a
Well,
tattoo artist.
see, and it's the same thing. I look at him. I'm like, you must be in a band or something. You know what I mean? Like, you must
Yeah.
be the lead singer
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something. You know, like, so he has that persona.
Which is
but
cool
I-
because he does all that crap too. Like he's
But
into all that.
I like that you don't fit the persona. You don't have big
different.
gaudy stretched ears and all this stuff. Because again, it's like, you know, as artists, we evolve where it's not always about, you know, being able to
Looking
pick
the
you out from a
image.
crowd.
Yeah.
Because again, there might be a lot of instances where you got to go to a business meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sit down with somebody and be able to sell your art, maybe not to tattoo clients. Maybe you want to sell your portfolio or designs to somebody that's going to do it like Ed Hardy put all those flash arts on lighters and clothing. And like I said, you just don't know where your art's going to take you. So why not at least be a little bit aware of it?
That's
you
the
know?
only like I feel like
That's how I
sometimes.
feel though. Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
already
fit the
all
persona.
fucked up.
No,
you
yeah, I
know?
agree. And it can be like a bad thing with art because like you never know where it's gonna take you. Like it's unpredictable and like that's kind of something new I had to learn is like I always have been like, okay, I need to know how everything's gonna go. Like very organized. Like I need to know, you know what I mean? So it's like really hard for me to
Well,
like learn.
That's
to,
why
like, just let it.
that's why the older generations will just write it off. Because
Yeah.
like, listen, like there's no set plan. There's no trajectory for you and success.
And
like,
that's what like it was like the hardest for me to learn is because like I always am like I need to know how exactly every detail's gonna go and like.
But it's not like it's that guaranteed either. Like you could have went to college, you could have been passionate about your degree, you could have got out of college and made no progress in landing in a job in your field. A lot
See,
of people
that's-
don't end up
yeah.
working in their field after
And
college
that's what-
anyway.
Like my tattoo artist.
Talk about money and time wasted.
The
you know?
artist that I would go to that's like I was saying like 2 hours away, they went to college, got their degree, don't even use it, now they tattoo. And like that was my biggest thing was like
What was the degree?
I don't remember what she was going for, but
Nothing art related though?
No.
I mean,
I didn't
oh,
know
okay.
that.
See,
but
that's
like
real
I don't
weird.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go there, waste my time, all this money, be in debt forever, not be able to do the things I want in life because I'm paying all this debt and for not even to use a degree, you know what I
I
mean?
took one art class and that wasn't in college.
Wow.
Yeah, and I wish I went to college.
One thing
I
to
don't
note-
regret my 1 year being there at all. Like those art classes were amazing.
And it's experience, people you know,
Yeah.
people you met.
I
know?
loved college life. Like, and like if I would have stayed though, it would not have been for like the right reasons. Like I loved the social aspect of college.
Right.
But, like, man, like that last semester, like I gave the fuck up. I was not going to any of my education. Like I just did not care. I was just going to what classes I wanted to.
Well, and
and,
some of
like,
those people might end up being clients someday too. You just like you know, those people that met you and know you there, and you know that you
I
left
did
college
tattoo
to
a lot
be
of
an
people
artist.
in college
Yeah.
actually.
You know.
Edinburgh University.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tattooed a lot of people up there actually.
did you?
And then I got in trouble a little bit because you're not allowed to do entrepreneurship there.
No,
Right,
Yeah.
no.
we got hemmed up a couple times for tattooing in the dorms.
Yeah,
and shit.
I didn't care. I still did it anyway.
We were leaving anyway.
Yeah,
It's like-
who cares?
It's like, how about you go fucking bust the people that are doing drugs in the room next to me?
Literally,
Like, I'm
there's
over here
people-
doing a
there's
tattoo. Leave me
people
alone.
doing worse, you know,
We're in an art
I
school.
swear, our
Right.
fire alarm in
Oh my
school, like, cause like my floor in college was all guys, and
Oh no.
yeah, all guys. I was on the 4th floor, and it was just like me and my girl. I had a couple roommates. I had 2 roommates. And these guys would set off the fire alarm at least once a month from smoking weed. I'm like, go get them! Like,
Yeah,
what,
right.
what are you doing with me? Like,
Right.
leave me alone.
And who is it? Just people telling on you?
Yeah,
because
it was
they're-
ended up being. I don't know how. I think someone ended up talking about it to our CA, and then the CA had to report it. So then I ended up just tattooing people like I trusted.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Well,
Whatever. But then my I don't want to give
the
my
other
secret.
the other side of it is really I understand it because obviously this is something that should be done in a sanitized environment
Yeah.
and
Oh,
not
for
be done
sure.
on couches. But I've got most of my tattoos on couches and shit, and that's why I can
Yeah.
stand here in a shop and say, hey, listen, that's not the best route to go.
Mhm.
I've been there.
Oh, for sure.
You know, but I've never had an infection. I've never had anything crazy happen. Like I've been tattooed in some pretty fucked up situations.
Oh gosh.
And it's
I
like
know,
I've
everyone
never.
that comes to me
Yeah.
are like, yeah, I did these stick and pokes, and my friend got this little tattoo gun, and I was like, oh gosh, like when I
Yeah.
hear it,
You're lucky you
No,
still
that's like the
thanks.
worst thing to hear. It's like, oh gosh. Yeah, her boyfriend, for example, like they did all like these little tattoos in like this girl's room, and just like would all do them on each other, and I was like,
Oh my
no.
I mean,
God.
there's always gonna be people like that.
No.
They
I
were
can
using
luckily.
the same cartridge.
You know what's funny too? My mom would ask
Oh,
me. She's
God.
like, Maggie, you change your needles, right? I'm like, are you dumb? Like,
Well,
she.
people don't.
That I know, and that's
So-
The days of that
disgusting.
shit are over. I hate to tell you, every fucking thing is disposable.
I know.
One time use disposable. Like,
Now.
And I know, and it's really not that hard to be sanitary. Like,
no, that's what I mean. It used to be really, really, really hard to do that.
Do
You used
all
to have
that.
an autoclave and
yeah,
stuff.
especially
Like,
with a coil. That's the one thing about a coil that I want to avoid doing is because they're a pain in the ass.
I love coils.
it's
now,
maintenance.
though.
Really?
Oh,
It
yeah.
just comes down to maintenance, and it's like every 2 days, tighten it up a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? Like, really, it ain't that much. But no, you're not ever gonna recreate the amount of punch and just I think just overall like saturation of a coil.
Yeah.
It actually tripped me out. Christian said the other day, he's like, I actually haven't seen you do any like of that style of shading with the coil yet. You've been using the rotary. I'm like, well,
What?
fuck that then. I ain't fucking using the rotary all week next week then.
Just to prove it.
Well, it's like
Right.
I don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? Because again, like you just can't compare the two. I mean, like it's two completely different pieces of equipment, and they produce different results. I mean, like I'm sure that there are probably rotary machines out there that are good enough caliber to be able to produce what I'm considering to be like coil style quality line work or solid shading or
The
fill.
masked ones.
Yeah, and I'm sure that because again, like the rotary that I use, I didn't invest very much into it because I didn't even know if I was going to use it. So like, but I use it now for very, very soft, very like portrait style shading
Yeah.
stuff that's like very, very light gray wash because it's undeniably better. I think for getting a softer hit, and I think maybe it attributes to it just being lighter. Because like with a coil machine, what I've always loved is that it's heavy because that is an extra stabilizer. With a coil machine, I mean, the fucking thing almost does it itself, as far as like I don't have to push at all on somebody's skin. But with the rotary, I have to notably put that thing into the skin because it's so lightweight.
Yeah.
I learned with that.
What, the coil or the
The
rotary?
rotary.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
what I
he
learned with too.
Taught me with
obviously.
the coil, and I'm like, oh my god.
And you like it?
Yeah.
I told him I was like I'm completely open to learning anything.
Well, I think
The weight.
just for like the lines and like I said, just especially like now I end up using like I said the coil really just for doing lines and if I have to do a
Yeah, I remember you saying
solid fill, and maybe some whip style shading because again that equipment is authentic for that style of shading. It's where it all came from. So I would rather use something like that. But it's just also too that it's a lot easier to get what I need for the rotary nowadays just because of the industry's going in that direction
and
anyway.
everything's so easy to get now, which is really makes it really nice. Yeah, too
Yeah.
easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, I don't give a fuck. I mean, Joe Schmo down the street could go buy a tattoo machine tomorrow and start tattooing people. That doesn't affect me at all. He ain't
Right.
stealing my clients.
No.
If anything, he's making us look
And,
better because we're not doing that.
That's like
Yeah.
a lot. Like I'm grateful that like I told you how I have like kind of like my own like clientele, and it's nice because like a lot of people like me because I'm very outgoing and I'm friends with a lot of the people I tattoo, and it's like nice because I know they'll follow me wherever I go, and like that's so nice to have is like people that like you and like your work and
You
stuff
want
like that.
that.
Well, right.
Like you,
and-
Grace, right?
And that's where, like, if you come into our shop and say you're a full-time tattoo artist, and there's going to be people that walk into that shop that don't have any desire to get tattooed by me. And that's just, again, something that, in this industry, it's better off if you don't have an ego or, you don't
for
feel like
sure.
somebody's stepping on your toes. Like, we're all trying to build each other
We're
up.
all there
and
for
be
the
the
same
better
reason,
artist.
really. So it's like,
And, like, so I had my buddy Opeth, I call him Opeth, his name was Mohammed K. Saeed. He was from Iraq. He had come up to do a guest spot at my shop, and I mean, like, his work would blow mine out of the water. His first 2 tattoos on me were portraits, and he had never done portraits before, and they're fucking immaculate.
Yeah.
He'd never done them before. He was just learning how to tattoo as well. But, like, so he literally, like, could tattoo me under the fucking table all day long, but nobody knew him. So they didn't want anything to
Yeah.
do with him doing work on him. Like, they were just unsure of him. Even showing them his work, they're like, well, I don't know. They
I
just
don't know
don't know
you.
him.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes just having a personality is almost,
It goes a long way.
it's almost better than your skill sometimes, because, like, again,
No,
your
really, it
skill
is.
will progress, you
Yeah.
know, but having the personality, you can't recreate that.
No, it really
so,
is.
like,
I'm like,
they'll follow you no matter where you go, or no matter
exactly.
what
Like
your
right now, I
skill level
tattoo in
is.
my basement. So it's like, I mean, I have like granted, it's actually ironic because in my basement before, the people who lived in my house before, it was a hair salon down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you lucked out.
So I did. So it was like already
Wow.
like set up and everything. Like I got the bathroom down there and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice.
See,
So-
we might even, come out and check out your space sometime if that would be possible. Because
Yeah.
again, you might just need a little bit of help just making sure that feels right
Yeah,
and set up.
yeah.
Because again, you're kind of already doing your thing, and as much as every other shop owner that you were going to apprentice under, they would say, okay, well, you got to stop doing tattoos in your house, stop tattooing to your
Yeah.
friends, stop
Yeah.
doing this. Now you're under my control, and you're going to do things
That's what
my
everyone
way.
asked me, and I was like, this is the first person that like doesn't want me, like who like is like wants me to do my thing but wants to help. Like
Right. Realistically, like I said, you're already doing it, So I mean, I can just offer you professional advice, on how to make sure that somebody's not walking out of there, with an infection or a fucked up tattoo, or that you're not, getting in over your head. Which I think that you have a good head on your shoulders, staying humble and making sure that you're not getting in over your head as far as like taking on a piece that you're not capable of doing. Again, to go back to like, you've done some pretty large pieces, because in most cases that's where you would tell people like, well, steer off of doing anything big, just do small stuff. But maybe you don't want to do small stuff. I hate small tattoos. I would rather be doing sleeves and side pieces and leg pieces and
I'm
stuff.
not there yet. I've done one like little.
You
Like,
know.
I did one sleeve, I think, and like that was I feel like I was pretty confident. I did good with it, but
Well, and you can piece things together. If you have someone that, like, say, this guy that wants this tree, you could probably figure out how to get the outline started. You could probably figure out how to get that piece going. I mean, even if you're
Yeah.
like, listen, dude, I might not be able to tattoo this for a year, but come down, let me size it, let me actually draw this on paper. Let's maybe touch bases in a couple months. I'll stencil it on and
Yeah.
see what it looks like.
Mhm. yeah, because
Just
there was
taking the
definitely
right
parts of
steps.
it where I was like, yeah, I could definitely do that, but then there was
Right.
parts of it I was like,
Just got to fill in the gaps, because
Yeah.
again, your foundation's just missing a little bit of information, which again, I think the shading is really what it comes down to. And also what you need to know with the gray wash and working with gray wash is that a lot of the outline, I don't tattoo that in 100% black, because depending on how the shading of the piece is going to be, you might not either see it, maybe it's just a shading line. Again, not every line in a piece is a hard fucking black line. Sometimes it's not a line at all. Sometimes it's just where the shading stops, or you know what I'm saying. So
that's
like
really
again,
helpful to know, because
guide.
these
So
are
again,
things like I don't know.
like
so
if
it's
I'm doing a tree, I would say maybe 30% of that fucking thing is done in solid black, actually fully committed outline, because I know I'm going to shade against 90% of them lines, and I want them lines to essentially disappear. You're not going to see those. But I need to know where that shading is going to be in a lot of cases, so I'll outline it in gray wash in some places, or I'll do my detail or my texture lines in like a 20% gray wash, so that way I know it's only visible for the next 20, 30 minutes until I get in there and shade it, and it's going to be gone. They used to what they call bloodline stuff, like with a portrait. I would literally be just dipping in witch hazel and doing a lot of my portrait style lines, knowing that no ink's going into the skin. What I'm getting is the redness. I'm getting a red line, a blood line. So that way I can quickly get back in there and shade where that is, and then that line's going to be gone. There'll never, ever, ever be a line there. They don't necessarily do that so much anymore, because there's enough science to know, well, if I know that I'm going to use a 10% gray wash to shade this cheek, I use a 5 or a 10% line to get that in there, and I'm going to just wash it out, and it's going to be erased. So there's a lot of things, again, like when you're watching me do a black and gray tattoo, pay attention to what cups I'm dipping in, and I don't give a fuck. Like, I've even told for people just to keep in mind, because again, how I orient my cups is different than what everybody else does. I usually do 2, 2, 2. I like to stagger them, and then I'll do 2 vertically that are my emergency wash. But everybody has a fucking process. Everybody has a layout.
Everyone
So like
has
again,
process,
it doesn't matter. I could be over here. I know which one's my fucking 10%. I know which one's
Well, like, and he
my
could be
wash.
helping me set up. I'm like, I'm right-handed, remember?
Now your setup, she's the one that's like right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, we have like a barrier.
I love your setup. It's
wall.
so cute.
Thank you.
The chair is amazing. I wish I would have bought one like hers, because it can go flat, it can be totally vertical,
That's
the
what
legs can
mine's
be
like
out.
too. Yeah.
Now they have them to where the
It
legs can
is
individually split.
Small, though. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't lower it like
That's
it
mine
is.
too. Mine
But
is
you can
mine
raise the
does all that.
seat.
It goes flat. It can go up
Well, I'm
and
short.
but it's too tall. Mine's too
Right.
tall for me
Right.
too. And my
Yeah.
seat I have doesn't go higher.
So
This
you're
is
kind of on the shorter side too.
Yep.
I forgot.
Well,
Standing
this
next
is-
to you.
I was gonna
This
say
is-
like whenever I like start with you like I don't mind bringing any of my stuff there. Like it's not a big deal.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, you can even just send me some pictures of what you have, so we can kind of
Figure out where it's gonna go.
right, because obviously we want to make sure that everybody has enough functioning space. What I said to you and Christian the other day is that realistically, I highly doubt that we'll all be tattooing at the same time.
Yeah.
So shared space is a thing, like can kind of coexist. Obviously, everybody else is right-handed, so I mean, like if you wanted to work on something, you could jump into her station and it would feel pretty natural. Everything would be oriented the
Yeah.
right way. Same thing with Christian. I set him up essentially on the other side of my station so that he essentially has my station but mirrored.
Yeah.
He can use the same space. The only
Nice.
difference is that he has his own desk for his own stuff.
Mhm.
But we can look and see what you have. I would like to not have to pull anything that you have just because you want to be able to do something there. But we could only hope that, like, we set stuff up here in the future or the next coming days or weeks that we say, well, you might as well just do it at the shop. You know what I mean? Like, that way, one, we can kind of check you out and we can see what you're doing. Also, Christian's tattooed himself a handful of times and a couple other people, but having him come in and do it in a shop, the proper lighting, the proper table, you got
So much
every
better.
ink at your disposal, every needle
Mhm.
variation that you could need. So again, you haven't had the opportunity, I don't think, right, to do a tattoo in a professional environment.
Nope. Not yet.
I was
So-
gonna say, I doubt that.
So just again, walking in the door, knowing that I'm coming in here to do a tattoo shop or a tattoo in a tattoo shop, it gives you enough confidence. It changes how you do the tattoo. Absolutely, I think that you'll do obviously much better in that
I
environment.
agree. I completely agree.
If you're able to do what you've done so far, with essentially what I would consider like all these things working against you, what I would imagine not proper lighting, not proper
Yeah.
seating, not proper.
For
You know what I
lighting,
mean?
my dad has like actually my dad has this huge like LED light like right above and
Like
it's
surgical shit.
no,
Right,
literally
right.
every time someone lays down they're like I feel like we're at the doctor's office.
Well, we have a surgery.
Yeah, we had one.
But we
It's
had.
blinding.
Yeah, we couldn't use it in the new shop because the lights are different.
Yeah, it was one that just
It's
screws
really
into
cool.
a.
And like
into
I
a
know it
fucking
would
bulb.
be it would be nice too to like tattoo around with other people there too, like have that environment around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, for the client, for you, it's like it's an atmosphere and an energy thing. Like,
Mhm.
I only hope, like I said, I can usually tell within the first 5 minutes of somebody being in my presence, especially if we're at the shop. Because again, if you're an artist or you're someone that's woken up by creativity, like when you walk into a space like that, you are inspired. You feel good. You want to create something, or at least interact with the process. Because like we have all kinds of space. We actually
it's
have.
a really nice space. Very
Actually, have
nice.
like I guess
Yeah,
I
we
showed
got
you right a
lucky.
little bit of
Yeah.
an extra room and stuff. So it's like even if like one of those rooms becomes like warehouse storage stuff for everybody's supplies, so that we could open up more space, for actual tattooing. We have a whole back fucking space which we're gonna be able
I
to
know.
use.
I saw you. It's really nice space you guys have.
Really, really lucky.
The one room was my piercing room, but I like.
Yeah, I heard about that.
transitioned it, into like my tattoo
It
area.
sucks that it's.
The other room is supplies for.
It sucks
the
that it's
small
detached. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just like I even said about like, well, you could put a little tattoo room in there, but boy, would that feel like you were in a little hole in the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that would be very good at all. Like I would rather everybody, like you said, kind of can,
Be like around each other.
yeah, especially because again, like we're not gonna we have the power to do it any way we want. We're not gonna have you tattooing while I'm tattooing or while somebody can't.
And like my
Oversee
favorite
it.
thing
Right.
about like the tattoo shop I go to is like there's two people there and the guy has his little area and the girl has her little area and they have like it all like decorated with the stuff they like and it's so fun because
Yeah,
I
that's how we are.
yeah and I've got tattooed by both of them and I'm like I
Mm.
love that like you make your space like your space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be probably the most exciting part. Like I said, now obviously that we've kind of like got through this. You're local now. We should be able to get started. I have a tattoo this evening, but obviously we can look at anything. Like I said, to even Christian, if we're not doing a tattoo, that might be an opportunity to work on something else. You know,
Yeah.
if you have someone that you want to work on or something you want to work on, you know, we can try to line that up. I would think the most beneficial thing right now is like, let's try to figure out a day that like I've got something that's got like some really good black and gray shading,
Okay.
something that's got some heavy gray wash in it, so that way you can kind of oversee that.
Could even
Um,
work on my way.
Yeah, I could. I mean, there's always something to work on.
I
you
kind
know?
of stopped taking
Well,
appointments.
mine has heavy shading. My Bob Marley.
Oh, cool! You
Yeah.
give me the Bob Marley,
Yeah,
in the best way possible.
Oh,
like, and
but
yeah, I kind of stopped
Compliment.
taking like tattoos right now, just so I can put all my focus. with you
Okay.
guys.
I don't know if your leg's a good. I would rather do your arm or something because really
Okay.
that's just hair. That's just
That's so funny. You
Lettering
guys
and
are just
hair.
like, do this on me, do this on me. Yeah, it was nice because like my boyfriend, my boyfriend gets a lot of like I've done most of his, but he got this web on his arm from there because I was at school. I don't even know if he would have let me do it. He's real specific. Like he's real.
Is it
picky.
in the bend?
It's like, wait, where is it at? It's like on this side.
Okay.
He's real specific, but his family, well, his one side of his family, like they do not like tattoos, and then the uncle told my parents not to let me tattoo him anymore. So
At least you know it's just about the tattoos. It's not about your work.
no, they're just he's
Like, oh no, don't let that dude
they're
tattoo
like,
you anymore.
yeah,
That
they
looks
always
terrible.
say like their last name's Alio, and they're like, alios don't get tattoos.
Alio.
Yeah, whatever.
Alio?
Alio.
Oh my god, that's a crazy last name.
Alios don't get tattoos.
Alio.
Whatever.
Oh no.
It's okay. I'll probably still
I'm
end
gonna
up
steal that
tattooing.
last
Yeah.
name.
But yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and I tattooed him a lot in the beginning, so some of it's just like random shit. Like, I'm gonna.
That's one on his hand. That's cool though.
I know the one on his hand. We talked about that when I was with him. Like,
I
no.
guess I did see it. I
What
probably don't
happened?
have a memory of it, but I think
A
you did
spider.
show it to me. Yeah,
It was like
the
one of the
spider's
first ones I
sick.
did. Well, this is before.
It's sick.
He doesn't even. He hates it. He hates
It looks good.
because this is whenever I had
It's
no
sharp.
printer.
It's fucking crisp.
Wait, is it that spider you showed me the other day?
You
Black?
didn't send me a picture of it, did you?
Oh.
No.
I freehanded this spider.
No, he
because-
was with her when she
Yeah,
stopped in
I
the shop.
freehanded, and because I didn't have like any of the equipment yet, because like I said, this is when I first started, and he wanted it to be like this small. Ended up being like pretty big, but you know, it's okay.
It fucking looks all. It's like a. Is it a
It's not
black
a
widow?
jumping spider
Yeah.
now. It's a black
But,
widow.
like,
No,
I
he's like really into
immediately-
Spider-Man, so he got like that's what the spider. He got the web going. You know.
Well, I immediately seen the legs because
Mhm.
again, tattooing the hand, especially in like the webbing, like it fits really good.
Mhm.
Like the legs are fucking sharper than fuck. Like it's super
I'll
tight.
just see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually
he
really
hates
like
it though,
that.
so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then
Take a
like
picture.
what?
Take a picture.
I know, and then he has like a snake on his arm. I did that. He tells me I forced him to get. I literally was just like, I'm in the mood to tattoo. Let's just do
But
this.
see
Well,
that
that's how I.
that has to happen though. You're
Yeah.
unfortunately the only one
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
be there. You know,
And
so
then,
lay down.
And then on his
Yeah.
thigh, he has all these like little stupid things. Like
Oh, the
his
one on
family
his
doesn't know
hand.
about those ones.
He's a stick person jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah, that
on
one's
his
gone.
hand.
But see,
It
that's
literally like just came
It'll
off.
go.
at
Because it
least
was,
you're
like,
not
right
putting
here.
stuff on like where it's visible. It can be hidden. You know, you're just
Yeah,
doing like
so
some
it's-
practice stuff.
We
like
got a Pac-Man course going on.
you got a little patch of stuff, you know, and maybe, you know, like in a year or two after you know, got a couple years of tattooing under your belt, you turn that into something, you know,
Yeah.
Fix it up.
you know,
Yeah.
well, like, I have like cheeseburgers and stupid shit, toasters and all kinds of shit on my legs that I was
Yeah.
just doodling with a tattoo machine on my skin.
Yeah.
You know, like it's at basic level, that's what it was. It's
What
just
was-
practicing, you
What was
know.
the first one I did on you? Your wave?
Yeah, I have a wave on my ankle.
Did that? Yeah, a little wave.
And see, look how that's pretty
Okay.
fucking
That's the
sharp.
first one that you did on me.
The
Okay.
end line looks like it. I don't know if it's, you know, faded or dotted or what. It looks like it's a little bit light.
Just, like taper it out a little.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm telling you what, like your curves,
Mhm.
this is where in most cases when you see anybody do stuff like that, you can always see a flat
Mhm.
spot in it because we actually just talked about this the other day. It's like when I'm running a line, my wrist, I always, before I run
Mhm.
a line, I like do this motion and
The mo-
figure out,
yeah.
okay, well, where's my elbow, my fulcrum going to be, my crooks on my arm going to be so that I can make that whole range of motion.
Mhm.
And if I can't, I at least know where it's at and I
Yeah.
stop. Because if you try to do it and you're running out of gas,
Mhm.
you get a flat spot and then you curve the end. So every fucking moon I mean, not every, but a lot of them, you see it's
Yeah.
perfect and then it goes
A lot
Yeah.
of
flat
things.
and then it curves. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. They didn't stop and
Yeah.
then do another.
That's what I do. Oh
do
my
two
gosh. I
fucking
could never
half
I could never
circles.
do that in one line.
You know what I
Like,
mean? Well, you could. Like I said,
It would just be hard to just go.
it comes down to, again, we're on we're on scanning on a table and on a horizontal plane, so
Mhm.
you'll see, like, I go like this, and now I've got a whole 90 other degree of range,
Yeah.
to where before, if I'm like this, if I stay like this, I can only go this far. But if I move my fucking arm out, which I can, there's a body to lay it on,
yeah,
probably.
when I did start, I did start
Zzz,
small like that. I
you
did
know,
shit like that a lot. Her
and, like,
stupid butterflies.
I'll
and-
tattoo into the unknown sometimes, to where, like, I just know from muscle memory that I'm good.
Mhm.
But, like, I'll literally tattoo out of my sight,
Mhm.
to where, like, I actually can't even see where the
That's
end of my,
crazy.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just know
Where it's at.
that I've it's essentially like, what do they call it? It's like a protractor almost. I know that arch, and I know that I can extend the whole
Yeah.
way in, and it's like it just comes
You
with
feel
muscle
confident.
Mhm.
memory, and every time that you do that, and that's where it's impressive that you're working on, like I said, hips, sternums,
Yep.
rib cages, because that's not easy places to work. It's a lot of round body,
Mhm.
where in most cases you'd be working on like ankles and flat spaces
Mhm.
and trying to get just very consistent
When
line
was your
work.
first sternum piece done? Like how long?
Who's first? I'm trying to think of like the first stern.
Well,
I just did that tiger. That was just
yeah,
recent.
that one is the one that I showed her. That one's a pretty recent one. That was
That's the
after
one.
we talked, right? That was
Yes.
after you stopped the
Yep.
shop. Because, like, when I looked at that, I'm like, oh my god, your lines have sharpened up. Because, like,
Mhm.
I looked at the dragonfly one, which crosses, it's like from the middle of the ribs
Mhm.
past the waistline, goes down onto like a little bit of the thigh. And again, I forget how long you said that piece took, but for the size of the piece, it should have taken you like 4 or 5 hours.
And
It
it
took you
now
probably a third of that,
Mhm.
which is good. It's good to obviously be able to do the work quick, but at the same time, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, just that little piece of advice, it's slowing down, because again, nobody's gonna shake
Which
a feather
helped
at
too, and
saying,
that doubled my time on these pieces. Like,
well, and that's what you want again,
which
because
yeah, I don't mind that at
if
all.
I had a big piece and I was like, it'll take me an hour, they'd be
I don't
like,
mind that at all.
how? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like
don't
they
mind that
they
at all.
expect it to take a couple hours.
Mhm.
So again, why not just take
Yeah.
the time and do it
Yeah.
right? Because again, you have obviously the ability to make it work, and to be
Yeah.
able to get ink to stick in the skin properly, which is essentially the scariest part.
I
You
mean,
know where to
yeah.
put it.
To answer your question, like the first sternum pieces, I think I did like a little flash sale where I did like little cross. It was like a little cross with vines, so I did like small ones, and this one girl wanted it there back in like Thanksgiving time, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Well-
right, no, my first one was my Mercedes.
And
My
you-
How'd it turn out
ex-roommate-
is my question. Like, how'd your first one?
My ex-roommate, I did one there, and it turned out pretty good. She ended up really loving
As
it.
I say,
Fun-
female.
yeah, fun story about that. She was over because she was gonna be my roommate in college. We're ops now, but
You're what?
she came over. She's not from around here, and she came, and we were just downstairs in my basement having fun. Like, she was just staying over for a couple nights. My dad came downstairs, boobs out and everything, and my dad, like I said, my dad is the sweetest, like, most precious angel, and he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, he felt so bad. It was
Were you
so
tattooing
funny.
her?
Yes, I was
Okay,
tattooing
and
her.
you okay.
He felt so bad. She didn't care, but he was like, I'm so
Oh, I can only
sorry.
imagine
It was
how your dad
so
felt.
funny. It was so funny. So now every time
Dad.
tattooing someone, my dad always, like, he won't come down. He's scarred.
I bet.
It's so funny though.
Yeah.
Like I actually scarred the mailman. Well, maybe probably in a good way though. Like, because now he comes by a lot.
Are you,
Oh my
do you guys,
God.
like, have, like, a city mailbox, or is it, like, rural?
Just a normal. I mean, it's just a normal fucking little
My
mailbox. We don't
boyfriend's
have like
actually
a Dropbox.
a mailman, and sometimes he'll deliver here, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
not
in
here,
Block
but
City? Or up
And just in St. Mary's in
there
general,
was
I don't know
there
where.
was an. I mean, he's probably not older if you're in your 20s.
He's 19.
Yeah, I mean this
Oh,
is
okay.
an old guy,
okay.
but literally like it was like our first fucking week in there, and I was tattooing this girl's thigh, and she had fucking shorts on, what we would call shorts in 2025, but they probably looked like
They
fucking
were
underwear
short
to
shorts,
this
yeah.
guy. But he literally just came in just to like establish a relationship with like, hey, you guys are new business, do you want me to drop your packages, da, da, da. And I'm like starting to look at him coming in, and he like realized the situation as he walked in, and he like froze. Like, and this guy looks like
Yup.
Sid from Ice Age. Yeah, like when he sees the acorn, like
That was literally my dad.
Oh my
And
God.
like
my-
5 minutes. He's just like, I'm like, what do you need? I'll come back.
Yup.
I'm like, yeah, I bet you will.
Yeah.
And now every time he comes by, he's like, hey,
Yup.
looking in the windows. I'm like,
Yeah,
come on,
it's
man. Like, we
weird.
do tattoos here. This isn't weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Don't
because my
make it weird.
grandma
And you know
always
what? I had
asked
a
me
girl
that. Like,
tell
how are you
me.
gonna do that?
I did a girl like right here, like down the sternum, across the boobs.
Oh yeah.
And she told me she tried going somewhere, and the guy was like, "No, I can't do that, like because
That's
I have
common.
a girlfriend."
That's common.
Yeah.
Well, that's common.
Yeah.
But that's weird because to me, because it's like I have a boyfriend and I've done down by like guys' dicks, but it's like that's what you do.
Well, even girls, who's to say you're not like, oh, look at this girl's butt?
It's a
You know what I mean? It's
it's
like,
professional, yeah.
See,
Like
this would be like the tattoo podcast side for that.
yeah, because
like,
we,
it's
obviously have to
typical.
juggle that.
that's
Girls-
so weird.
girls
And-
can be
and
uncomfortable, they're not
you're
used to it.
Yeah,
in a
that's
situation where, like, I tell her, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, that at least she's there every day.
Mhm.
Because again,
Yeah.
that at least like diffuses it because being a tattoo artist, you're gonna have to deal with it. Like, I don't care if you're working
Yeah.
at a checkout at Walmart, somebody's
Yeah.
gonna flirt with you or hit on you at some point.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's again, I'm here to do a job. My job just so happens to be on someone's skin and on somebody's body, but
yeah,
like
I don't think of it like when I'm in between a girl's boobs, I'm literally like facing like in her tit. I'm not like, ooh, look at these boobs in my face.
and it's so funny because realistically, you're
different when
so
doing it,
you're
though.
so close to the situation, you don't even have the moment to think
To
about
realize,
it. You
yeah,
know,
you don't think about it like that. You really don't.
no, and it's like unless you're again someone that's doing it, you really don't have that benefit of like how do you really check yourself out of that? It's like, well, you don't have a choice
Yeah.
actually. It's just like I would imagine if I was a surgeon and I was
Yeah,
doing
like you
breast
gotta deal. You
implants
probably,
all day.
yeah,
I mean, you have to be able
it's your
to,
job.
you have to be able to be professional, like you said. So it's
Exactly.
like even in some cases where like again
Goes
some
both ways.
yeah clients got to be
Clients
professional
can
too.
be,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
"Oh, he hit
1:15.
on
I don't know
me,"
what time you got
look
to.
at that.
Yeah, that was like the one downfall about like so like that place that wanted me to work in Erie. Was kind of sketchy because the place was in the mall, and that mall's very popular. And the guy even warned me. He was like, "Yeah, we get some weirdos in here." I was like,
Well, was that a concern of your spouses that like you're gonna have to work on guys and girls?
No, like my partner doesn't care. It was more so like my dad. Like he is protective. Like he is like, I don't like that. Blah blah. And like, cause like my mom understands because she's a waitress, so she gets hit on a lot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like she's young. She's younger, and obviously I'm very young. Like I just got out of high school last year.
And
So
You're
I
18,
want to say
right?
too
yeah, almost 19.
that
Okay.
very few people look hot when they're like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's like, normally you're not fucking seeing the best person, like whenever you're tattooing somebody, it's like, that's the last thing that they're thinking about too.
Mhm.
Like, so in most cases too, like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a female tattoo artist, but most cases, your client is like, coming to get a tattoo, they're not usually hitting on you. They're not usually
yeah.
worried about
I've
that.
never really had any. I mean,
And
I've
once
had
you
one
start
circumstance.
tattooing them, they've completely lost any bit of being. I mean, like anybody that says they're getting turned
Yeah.
on by being tattooed, I think is lying. You know what I mean? But like
I mean,
seriously, it's like.
yeah, I don't know. I had a guy have a boner when I was tattooing him.
Well, see, I don't know about this. I mean, I've
but
probably given some
to
boners,
be fair,
but
I mean, my hand, like, my arm kind of, like, was on his dick because I was tattooing his stomach. So,
there's only so many places you can put it. As I
Yeah.
said, I've elbowed some ween.
I know, and I was like, oh my gosh.
It is what it is. I've even, I mean, we don't have to get into like too craziness, but I've even like, can you feel that? Cause like my machine's vibrating, and I'm like, oh, I've tattooed a pelvis and a hip. I'm like, what does that feel like? That has to feel weird.
Yeah.
Like, and girls get their pelvis and stuff tattooed,
What,
and like
I
it's
did
like it's
that
gotta feel
by your
unusual.
pelvis. Did you feel
Well,
it?
Just like the head.
Well, you have a rotary though. That's different because the rotary again
Yeah,
doesn't have the
so
same
different.
punch.
I actually did one on myself right there. That was, like, hard to do. That was probably the hardest one I did on
It's a
myself.
tender fucking spot, and
And
again,
it was
very
hard because,
elastic.
like, I had to, like, sit like
That's what I mean. You get to stretch.
This was in my college dorm. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm like,
I'm surprised
Not
you went for
ideal.
ladder.
Yeah.
Well, I did that
Wow.
Goomba, and that was after like having a couple drinks and a couple of my friends being like,
Oh,
"Oh,
no.
you're an awesome artist. You
know
can do
what's
that." I'm
funny?
like,
I get a
"All
lot of
right."
stories about people getting drunk tattoos. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Like,
Oh my god.
Live and learn. I mean, like I hope that nowadays that doesn't happen as often,
They
but
don't
like
get it.
I have a friend of mine that has probably maybe 15 signatures tattooed on his ass.
That
Or
is
just tattoo
unreal.
machine at a party and like, hey,
at
everybody
least
line
it's
up
on
and
his
sign
butt.
it.
At least it's on his butt.
And some people drew wieners, some people wrote "fuck you." I mean, but like, again, he's got a story. He's got all kinds of
I
crazy
mean, at least it's on his
tattoos.
butt.
It
you know?
fits him so well. He's that like he has a tattoo of a hairy dick on his arm too.
Oh.
that has two middle fingers and it says "shit, fuck, piss, cunt" around it.
Oh, that's funny.
You ever
That's
heard of
funny.
Gigi Allen?
Yeah, that's funny.
You ever heard of Gigi Allen? He's a musician. That crowd, what I mean, very, very, open to being crude and.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a good lifestyle. Punk rock,
Yeah.
it's essentially where it's all rooted from.
I know that
and
is like it's like
that's where tattooing thrives.
I know. It's like on the outside I don't look like that, but on the inside I'm like that. Like the music I listen to, like I always get like I tattoo a lot of like girls who like get like cute dainty shit, and my music is like real dark. Like I got
Is it really?
I got Rammstein on the TV and all that. And
All right, so let's take a screen off then, because there's her, this girl that looks pretty clean cut, pretty normal, listening to Rammstein tattooing, and then there's Christian tattooing. He's listening to Taylor Swift.
That is so.
You know what I mean?
funny!
This just goes to show how different people can really be on the
like,
inside.
On the
'Cause
inside,
he's the most sensitive, kind. I mean, he listens to that kind of. I mean, he'd love it. He would fucking tell you right out that he likes that music.
Like literally the other day we were at the gym. There was like this big swole guy there. He has like Taylor Swift and like SZA on. I'm like, what the fuck?
And he might be gay or something. I mean, like, you just never know anymore. You can't really judge anybody anymore based on how they look.
It was funny because I'm on the treadmill and I got like Slipknot in my ears and like Motionless in White.
That's
like
so good. He loves Motionless in White. You guys will vibe over that. Yeah. He probably had the shirt on the day you came in.
Probably.
But yeah, good group of people. Very excited. I think that we all have very similar outlooks on things and perspectives. And similar goals. So I think, again, this is essentially like kind of like your job interview a little bit. I think this was, like I said, a good way for us to get to know you a little bit, and you talk about kind of why you want to be a tattoo artist, which, I don't know if I touched on that specifically. Like, when did you find out, like, okay, well, like, because were you drawing before that? Did you kind of...
Yeah, I've been into art ever since I was little. So, like, my
So how'd you decide tattoos? Was that just...
That, like I said, when I tattooed my friend with the cross, I kind of was like, oh, this is kind of fun. So I started...
Wow, talk about out on a ledge. I mean, like, it's cool though. Like, but...
Well, then I started doing little shit just for fun on my family, and I was like, I think I could be really good at this. And that's just how it started. And then, I started putting my money into getting better equipment and, stuff like that. And then,
well, and doing your research, too. Like, when you say something about, like, when you read... or you're watching stuff, or you're trying to learn, that's, again, like, the biggest indication that somebody's actually serious, because nobody's making you do it, nobody's forcing you to do it, so, like, you're
I was
learning.
real interested, and they just kind of went off from there, and then I started, like, doing, like, little things on other people, and then it just kind of went off. Yeah.
All right, well, we can end it on that. We can wrap it up. It's a little after 1 o'clock. You said you got to... Get somewhere by 2. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. I think officially, welcome to the team, and we're happy and excited to see what we're going to do in the future.
Excited, yeah.
All right. Gonna get you one of these fucking shirts. I don't do it as much anymore, but like I would always, the first place I'm going is a tattoo shop. I'm in a new area. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I need to find my people. So like you go to the tattoo shops, and you meet them and you talk to them and you find those people. Like I was actually traveling up. It had to have been Slippery Rock because it couldn't have been.
My brother goes to school.
The college campus is really fucking impressive. It's beautiful up there. So.
And it's not that expensive either.
Oh, so have you ever been up there?
Yeah, my brother lives there.
Have you ever heard of the Dinky Dash? Fucking what is it? Dinky Dash Hound is the name. It's got such a unique name. It's like if you've been there, you'll know it. The Dinky Dash Hound tattoo shop, and like again, the name alone makes me want to go in there. But like, so I was living in my van at the time. I had traveled the country living in my van with my cat.
Yeah.
This was after I had closed down the first tattoo shop. But so I had literally a van of like oddities. I used to do taxidermy and make oddities like wet specimens and things like that. So like I literally had like a van of like severed like cat heads in jars and like chickens in jars, and I had
kind of scary
mummified chicken hearts and shit. I mean, but like it's art. It's all art.
Yeah,
and all of these animals were sourced naturally. You know what I mean? Natural causes, or I got them from a veterinary clinic or something like that. Like so. Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, I met these people at the tattoo shop. I'm like, listen, I got all this shit in my van. Granted, too, my van was a white, what people would consider maybe a rape van.
That's so accurate.
So full on white van, but then I also painted the whole front of it with blood spatter and made it look like it was just part of a mass murder or something.
Even worse.
So I'm driving around in this white blood spattered van full of dead animals in jars. I'm like, listen, this doesn't really look that good. If I would get stopped, which
my God,
my van looking the way that it did, they did stop me from time to time just to check me out, So I actually offloaded a bunch of these oddities and a bunch of these animals that I had in jars in different pieces. And again, like I had like necklace that had like mummified chicken hearts on it, bird
It's kind of
skulls,
scary, but cool.
cat skulls, all kinds of different stuff. Again, all naturally sourced. I never killed a single animal. I don't even hunt.
If I didn't know him, I would have been like, no, we're not.
But so all my shit, my whole collection's up at that tattoo shop, and it was like I had only known them guys for 15 minutes, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll take some dead shit."
That's so
It-
funny.